Junkies, you're watching Cannabis Culture News Live. I'm Jeremiah, here with Carly Pants.
Hello.
CCN Live, another Friday. We weren't here last Friday. It's been a few Fridays that we haven't been here. Oh, I guess I should use a microphone. I don't use mics anymore. I just talk directly to the camera.
You're a little rusty, AJ.
But yeah, I guess after not doing a show for a week or two. Actually, we did a show 2 weeks ago, but Johnny Boy, you don't see here with us. He's going to be tuning in to the show, coming down to the show. He's probably tuning in on his phone right now, but he's going to come down. He's driving. He's stuck in traffic in Surrey or something, so he's going to make it down as soon as he possibly can. We have a big J-Max in the house, and Alyssa, Boss Alyssa, of course, but also in the hot seat, camera is not available. That's how so hot she melted the camera. Damn.
That's how I do it.
Yes.
It ain't nothing, boo-boo.
While that's happening, we will... Are we live? There she is. Nah, there.
Hi.
Yay.
I'm here.
The camera looks like it's not quite tuned up the right way. Let's see if we can...
Okay, I still look good.
You still look good. Here, wait, though. Let's see if we can...
It?
No. Well, yeah, that you can shift that. That would be good. I'm going to try to bring the color up a bit, because it looks like it's a little...
I look gray.
You look a little gray.
Look a little gray today.
The white balance isn't quite right. There, now we can see the beautiful thing that is
I'm
you.
tanned.
You were very tanned at that point. And the brightness up a little bit. You're already so bright, but you just are bright by yourself.
I'm bright like a diamond.
So, Kush Queen's in the house.
What's going on?
How are you
Hola. I'm great. I'm having a fabulous day today.
I'm so glad that you came by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Because I wanted to talk about your show.
So fabulous.
Which is your new Sunday show on Pod TV that we're all very fond of. So I brought you on today just to tell our viewers about that, so they'll get them tuning into your show.
Sweet.
They haven't already. But you should probably give her a dab too or something. Is that what's happening?
I have dabs
She
right
has
here.
dabs.
Only you have dabs.
She has dabs.
I brought some Butter King butter.
You could give her a bong rip. Oh, you don't smoke the bong, do you? Or do you?
I will on occasion. I'll totally have
We
a
have
bong
some
rip.
doobies too.
We
We got a
do
bong rip pack.
We have a
if you'd
bong
like one.
here,
Sure.
packed all ready to go.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to try to bring up the chatters here, make sure that we're actually broadcasting and all that.
Yes, absolutely.
So yes, we have the big bag of purple kush here today. It's very purple, actually. And the reason we have it is because it not only looks so delicious, but it just smells so good. It's our aromatherapy. It's extremely cushy. Everybody's kind of hating on purple kush, like, oh, I smoke too much purple kush, man. I can't smoke anymore. I love purple kush. I don't give a shit.
You know what? I used to kind of hate on Purple Kush too, but that was when I was from Ottawa, and pretty much the only time you'd ever come. It's changed. The dynamics changed a lot since dispensaries have started opening and stuff. But a couple years back, when I got good weed, it would be Purple Kush. That was the only good weed you could really get. Pretty much everything was M39. Half the time it was M39. They tossed it in a freezer, so it got purple discoloring on it, and then they called it Purple Kush. So you end up kind of making this association in your mind with like that shitty back alley weed.
Yeah.
But when you refamiliarize with the actual terpene profile and its actual strain traits and get it at a good dispensary.
I love Kushes. Obviously, Kush Queen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that it's definitely like to each their own, and also it depends on how the person's growing Kush and how they're growing the purple Kush or whatever. You know what I mean? Like some people get lazy and they're like, oh, it's just purple Kush.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those standard.
Get it out there,
Definition
yeah.
of the game.
Exactly, right? So, yeah. I don't know why people are hating on the Kush.
Hating on the kush.
I've been getting more into the Kushes lately. Kushes and the cheesy weed. I'm so about the cheesy weed right now.
You know,
good.
the problem for me is that I sleep too easily. So I'll fall asleep basically at the drop of a hat. And so when I smoke heavy indicas, Kushes being the most prevalent of the heavy indicas, I fall asleep like pretty quick. And so I do nothing but smoke sativas these days because I don't want to go to bed.
Right. You
Yeah.
got so much to do.
I find it depends on what the Kush or the indica is, but I usually will save something like a purple Kush for like the end of the day. I definitely do like having those indicas because they do help me sleep. So I usually will smoke sativa or a hybrid throughout the day, so I'm not lethargic. And then at the end of the day, when I just want to get stoned, sit on my couch and watch Netflix and relax, then yes, it's definitely going to be an indica.
Yeah, you need like one of those packs like they make NyQuil and DayQuil in.
That's, I
You
know.
know,
Like,
Yeah.
and if you're like in a lot of pain
Yes.
and you smoke a heavy indica, it doesn't give you like the tired feeling. It's almost like it just goes right to the pain and just kind of takes that pain away from you. And then you're like still kind of level. You're like, okay, like I can actually like get shit done right now because my level of pain was so high that I needed something super heavy, right?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I deal with a lot of back pain, so I feel like I need Kush all day
Right.
long to keep me like level.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So I'm
I don't
not like,
suffer from any.
But it's
Yeah.
the whole day, right?
It is different for everyone because everyone always
Totally.
talks about how much indica helps them with their pain, but I find for me, it doesn't make that much of a difference for my pain relief, whether it's sativa or indica. And if I end up smoking indica and just sleeping all day, you know, I like to be able to have the pain relieving qualities of the sativa. Like for me personally, even though I find it's different for a lot of other people, I don't find indica has more pain killing qualities for myself personally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Nope. I like my buzzy sativas.
Yeah.
They keep me going.
Sativas are very heady for me.
And I've been trying to quit drinking coffee because I was completely a coffee
Congratulations.
fiend and like addict, hardcore coffee addict. But so now I'm off the coffee. It's been like a month.
Yeah.
And I haven't had any coffee. I had 1 cup of coffee in a month, so that's not so bad.
That's not bad at
Good
all.
for you, because you were definitely a coffee.
I was.
He
Yeah.
was a total coffee
I'd
addict.
come and hang out, and you'd be like, it'd be like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We'd have like a nighttime session. You'd be like, would you like a pot of coffee? I'm just making a pot of coffee. Like, it's like,
all the time.
but then we're so alike in that way. I'd be like, sure, boil it up. Like, I'll have a fucking cup of coffee at 10 p.m. No
Why
problem.
it keeps you going? Like
But the
Totally.
thing is, you don't realize that it's just grabbing your next little bit of energy. That is the case with a lot of like
Yes.
drug use. You're not really giving yourself more energy. You're just grabbing tomorrow's energy and injecting it into right now, and then you crash, and you never get more energy. The only way you get more energy is by more rest.
Exactly. You gotta
you're just
fuel yourself
borrowing
up.
some energy,
Yeah.
and then in a few hours you're gonna need to borrow some more. Then you end up just in this
You end
cycle
up
where
in
you
debt of energy.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I remember when I quit coffee, I timed it out because I had just left a job, and so I was resting, and I let myself sleep when I needed to, be awake when I needed to, and it was 2 weeks where my sleep schedule was like completely backwards because my body just needed to get back to its natural
Readjust.
Yeah.
Yeah, people underestimate how much of a difference caffeine makes on your circadian rhythm and how much adjusting your natural circadian rhythm makes an impact on your day-to-day life and your day-to-day functions.
I'm good with the sativa. Now when I smoke, I stay awake, but I still am able to go to sleep. Like, you know, it used to be if I bombed like a pot of coffee right before bedtime, it would be a little bit troublesome to try to sleep. But
I wonder why.
but now, you know, the sativa's not too bad. I can like, you know, blam a bunch of sativa and actually go to bed. It doesn't stop you from going to sleep. It just stops you from falling asleep when you don't want to.
I can drink coffee right before bed. It's gotten to the point. I'm not saying it's healthy.
Yeah, you drink
and
a lot
it's
of
not
coffee,
doing
too.
Stuff to my body probably.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point where I do it so often I could literally drink a cup of coffee and pass out.
But you quit drinking wine, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or
well,
mostly?
I quit drinking alcohol
Yeah.
pretty much 100% of the time. I will rarely have a glass of wine for occasion. Oh, aren't you just so cute?
You got a
Hi.
puppy in the house.
So
Who is it?
adorable.
Where's the puppy?
Right here.
It's not.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, he's got a little bandana on.
Aw, so adorable. Sorry, puppies come first.
Cute.
But
All
yeah,
right.
no, once in a while I'll have a drink, but it's very rare, and I usually end up feeling it, and I feel sick, and my body will sort of do its thing afterwards, where it's yelling at me to
Because
not ever do that
liquor's
again.
poison, man.
It's not good.
It messes you up pretty bad. Or at least it does for me.
Yeah,
So-
I don't like it. Just it's not good. It's a life ruiner. Not into it.
Cushy, I wanted to have you here because I wanted to talk about your new Sunday show on Pod TV, which is very popular. And, and
The
gaining
Royal
more
Hour with
viewers.
Kush Queen.
The Royal
That's right.
Hour with Kush Queen.
Hi.
And so tell people about your show and what you're putting together.
Basically, I do a show for an hour long on the Pod TV network. It's called The Royal Hour with Kush Queen. I have all sorts of different guests come on, cannabis related, non-cannabis related. Just kind of trying to end that whole little stigma there with my little activism.
Yeah.
It's basically a very laid back show. It's not very serious. Whereas I like to just, with lack of better words, I just like to shoot the shit with my guests for an hour long. Talk about what they want to talk about. Basically, just ask them a lot about their background. My big thing is getting to know my guests, and a lot of the people I know from afar, or like I follow on Instagram, or I'm a huge music fan of their music. And if I can have them on my show, it's so cool to get to know more about their history and why they became who they are now. And I just think that's pretty cool. And you don't really get to know that without having someone sit down with you and talk with you for like an hour or so. You know, it's like you can't just read Instagram posts and stuff like that and think that you understand someone. So
yeah,
it's definitely important for me. Yeah.
Very cool. And the place, so you did a couple shows here.
Yeah,
but
as I was getting my own little studio at my dispensary set up, yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about your dispensary because you're shooting the show there, but this is also a place that you've worked for a long time and that you love very much. So.
Yes, my second home.
Yeah, tell people about where you shoot.
Vancouver Pain Management Society, 2137 Commercial Drive. Been working there, managing there for over 2 years now. And it's basically a safe inhalation site. You can come and get your products. You can get your Butter King butter, best of the best.
Oh, yeah.
And at certain times on the weekends, you can sit and you can actually enjoy your medicine without having people bother you or feeling like you're bothering the children or whatever it is, which is super cool. And there's always really cool people, and it's super good vibes. We have a stage there. We've had performers. I had a huge birthday bash with tons of people performing. Hula hoop classes going on. We're very, very sociable and just one big family there. There's always someone to hang out and talk with there. It's pretty cool.
Yes,
the hula
definitely.
hoop classes are pretty cool. Do you
Yeah.
participate
Hula
in
hoop
those
class.
ones?
I don't, because it's my day off, and I do try to get other stuff done and try not to be at work on my days off too much, because I find myself doing that a lot. I'll spend almost like 7 days a week there.
Oh yeah, it happens in the cannabis industry.
And me personally, not knocking it at all. It's like I get really hot really easily, and there's a lot. It's like a small space, and it gets really hot. And I mean, some people can do it. I need like maybe to be doing it outside in the park or something like that.
I was curious because I've seen you do a couple of cute like hoop videos in the.
When I'm like just hanging out and it's not the hula hoop class and it's not so like hot in there, I'll just hula hoop on my own and just try to teach myself some stuff. When I was working on her shifts that she was doing the hula hoop class, I would watch from afar and try to pick up on some of the tricks and stuff. And then when I'd get the hula hoop in my hand, I'd be like, okay, try what she was doing. Like, that was super cool.
It's way harder.
She's a really good instructor.
That could be half the show, pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
You should totally do a show where you have the hula hoop class in it sometime.
Totally. No, it would be really.
That's
really
almost
cool.
as good as the Bash Show idea.
Yeah, I want to do a special edition Buds and Suds for Kush Queen. I think it'd be
Oh my god, I love
cool.
that idea so much.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun.
I think everybody would really enjoy that show. So, yeah, you guys shoot in a very cool place, and it's actually a very cool background for your show because you guys have like a bunch of stuff on the walls.
We actually have Butter King was actually published in High Times. He had an article. So he took the pages out of the magazine and got them blown up into a wallpaper.
Yeah.
And that is the wallpaper at the Vancouver dispensary.
It looks very cool in there. It's a great vibe. I love that place so much. Every time I'm there, I have a great time.
Yeah. The VPMS it's pretty amazing.
And Butter King's the man.
He is. He's so loving and so caring and kind. And if you ever need to talk or you ever need anything, you just go to him and you ask him, and he's really, really good at
Do you guys still
everyone.
accept members and stuff, or how's that? Are you guys?
We actually have switched over to 19 years and above.
Oh,
we
you did?
strongly believe in if you are old enough to pretty much make your own decisions, whereas in you can drink and you can drive a car and you can do all these things, join the military, then you can absolutely decide whether or not you want to smoke cannabis as your medicine or not.
Yeah.
So that's how we believe it. And so if you have proof of ID, we will give you anything you need.
I'm gonna love the video for that right now. That's getting a love here, bam, pressing the love button.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm very happy you guys did that because that's something that we at Cannabis Culture have advocated a long time is the 18 or 19 plus model, because everybody deserves the access and the right to have cannabis, not just people with medical cards, but everybody should. So that's very cool. Well, I've enjoyed watching your show. I haven't seen every single episode because I've been busy, but I do really
I haven't even watched every single episode, to be honest. But I do like to rewatch them to try to be like, okay, don't do that next time. What were you doing?
Who's a dream guest? Who do you want to have on the show?
Well, there's a bunch of different ones because for like different things, like in the music industry, there's some people. In the cannabis industry, there's some people. Like one of my big dreams is actually going to come true. This Sunday, having a very special, amazing guest. So there's kind of a bunch, to be honest.
There you go. So you heard it, ladies
Depending
and gentlemen.
on the circumstance. So
There's a dream guest on this week's show, though.
There is.
You
This
gotta
Sunday.
tune in this Sunday.
I have a feeling it might be like a little bit longer than an hour.
There you go.
My
And wait,
first
do you
show
start
that
at
goes
4
over.
or 4:20?
I actually started 2.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I knew
because
that.
Freddie
knew
has
that.
4 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I took 2 o'clock, and then if ever need be to go past an hour, I do have that hour leeway.
I knew that it was 2. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I forgot
it's okay.
that. Yeah. No, and it's really great, and it is getting that jump. Yeah, because the Weed King does his thing. We didn't want to like step on anybody's toes or anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I just want to, I'm Kush Queen in between, so I just like to squeeze in there and and I just do my thing.
Right, because we haven't even talked about the fact that you are the co-host, of course, of the Wednesday show.
I am.
On
I
Pod
am.
TV, From Under the Influence with Marijuana Man and
Yes.
The Alchemist are your co-hosts. But you've been doing that now for like, geez,
A long
3 years,
time.
2-3 years, like
A little
More than
longer
2
almost.
years.
It's
Has
been
it been that
it's
long?
been a long time actually.
I don't
and-
even remember how long we've been doing the show now, but
She had been
It
doing it for a
started-
while when I
it's-
came out, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
2 years.
Oh, no, no.
started
well-
as a special appearance as one of the Baked in BC girls.
yeah.
And that we were just kind of going through all of the different girls, and 2 girls would come on and hang out and look cute and smoke
Yeah.
weed. And then I just stuck around. Like, I literally never went home.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to be on the show forever.
That was pretty
And
close
it
to the
happened.
beginning of the whole show, though, as I remember. Like, that was right almost at the start of it. Because I was the producer of that show
Yeah.
for many, many years.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it was great. You guys are so awesome. I love what you provide on that show, a kind of a balance
Thank
to them.
you. Thank you.
And you kind of like...
Sometimes I'm like,
you get them
I
going.
didn't say anything for like 20 minutes. Like, come on.
Well,
Katrina,
it's
say
kinda tough with
something.
those guys.
But you know what? It really is. Like, Greg is a very, very smart man, and he has a lot of very good things to say.
And Al is a smart ass.
Yes. Well, and so is Greg. He's got
Yeah.
very like dry humor too. So it's very hard sometimes to get a word in edgewise, and sometimes I don't want to. I want to just like let them say what they need to say because it's super important.
Yes.
And I don't mind just being an extra person, just smoking, laughing when I need to, looking cute. It doesn't bug me at all. But they do let me say stuff when I need to, which is what's cool.
It's definitely a different dynamic from when you go from being a co-host to a host.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a huge
It
difference.
is a huge difference. Yeah. I actually wanted to just say something though because
Nope, not allowed.
I wanted to give a shout out to someone who actually just drew some pictures of me and Carly. I don't know if you saw it, Carly.
I haven't seen that.
Oh.
But it's really, 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 really cool.
That is
pretty
cool.
Yeah, I just want to see where it is here. So many
Pictures,
people.
huh? You
Yeah,
have
so
fan
her name
art.
is Oddball Art on Instagram, and she drew this little, like, what do you call it, like a caricature, I guess?
yeah.
Or whatever,
call it
of
that. Oh, yeah.
myself. I don't know if you're going to...
Brightness down a little bit.
How do I do that?
Slide up from the bottom, yeah. There you go. A little closer. That is awesome. Wow, very cool.
That is so
Yeah, so, because I
cool.
always wear the space buns. I don't know, it's not focusing, but...
That's cool.
Yeah, anyways. And then there's also one of Carly.
Oh my God.
She also put this one, Ola Ola, Dabs Up, and the little butter kit and the crown. And
Nice.
stuff, which is super
That
cool.
is
And the one of Carly is really, really cool as well. I'll show that one. And she did Jody.
Oh, very
So
cool.
this one is the one of all 3 of us. So this is Carly's. And she's wearing her 420 shirt.
Oh,
It's
that is
really cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
And then this
Awesome
one is the
pattern.
Jody one, but you can't see all of it, but it's her protest
Oh, that's
sign
so
that she had for the
cool.
marijuana march. So,
Very cool.
yeah, I thought it was really cool. So, shout out to you.
That is very cool.
It's awesome work. I can't wait to see the full
What's the Instagram?
full
Where do
thing.
people find that?
Oddball Art Co, I believe.
Oddball Art
Yeah,
CO.
so Oddball Art CO.
Cool.
All one
Wow.
word, all lowercase. So make sure you give her a follow. Super cool. Shout out to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, really
That's
appreciate that. It's
amazing.
my first time someone's ever drawn me like that. I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest
Isn't it
thing
so
ever.
cool? Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, honored.
Excellent. Well, you got to tune into Cushy's show on Sunday, 2 p.m. That's Pacific time. Tune in for the whole thing. Yes, many awesome shows to come, and thank you. I'm so happy that you are doing a show on the network, and it's just awesome. You know I love you very much, and I think you do a great job.
I love you guys too.
So.
Cannabis culture family forever.
Great
Pod
activists.
TV family forever.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see Kush Queen on Cannabis Day.
You will. I'll be there with all my babes.
Yep, tossing
Doing
joints
the
to the
joint
crowd.
toss. That's right. Every year. I haven't missed a year for a very long time.
It's the most important job at all of 420 and Cannabis Day.
All thanks
second most.
to this
Speaking of
man
David,
over here.
Levine, perfect time for him to come in. Actually, you should just go and quickly, because we just brought up the Cannabis Day joint toss.
Yay!
Yeah, and we already have like 3 pounds worth of pot that's rolled up or something.
Oh,
We'll be giving away a lot of free marijuana as we usually do at the event.
And the garbage crew gets to clean up and then gets to clean up, I guess.
Ah, yes.
There's there's that much for the
we should
the
make sure
420.
that people are there to help David at the end of the night. Like,
Yes.
we need to all put in some work.
Well, we do have a great volunteer squad that we will try to entice to stay a little later this time around.
Me and Dana and Cindy were at
They're
the
till
other
3
place till
a.m.
3:30 in the morning. So we could definitely use some help this time.
Yes.
We will.
We actually, this time
reward
though,
you.
luckily, we don't have to put a big pile anywhere and like guard it or something. We can throw it right into the flatbed truck that we have.
Oh,
and get it
gas.
dragged away because we paid a company to come and drag it away.
Nice.
Rather than
Yay.
So happy.
trying to burden the city who likes to complain about every little
those
dollar bill
whiny
that they have to
little
spend
snowflake
on our
yachts.
public parks. Yes.
They
Well
can.
put, DML. Well put.
They need to grow some gonads, those city officials, and learn to jump into the 21st century of herbal tolerance with the rest of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything important at the meeting the other night?
Oh, well, I should go. Maybe we should do the whole thing on the air right here and go over all of it. No, David tried to join us via Skype on at our Cannabis Day meeting we had last night, but it wasn't so successful, unfortunately.
No.
The Skype connection wasn't working so
Yeah, well.
perfectly. But no, David,
They
you
did
didn't
it on
miss
purpose.
Anything that you missed, I'll tell you after the show.
Terrific.
It's not, nothing too important. But, David, maybe just tell people a little bit about what we do on Cannabis Day.
Oh, yeah. Well, the way I see it, pot activism is all about building the world you want to see and then making it super hard for the police to go and interfere with it. That's kind of the general strategy. And we've been doing that for decades now. We started with a joint handout, and that became a raffle, which then became Lucy joint sales for $5 and a little tiny sign, which then became a set of scales and a jar and a table, which then became all these booths that are showing up now with fancy names and like built out of wood and stuff, and kind of all this whole sort of free market.
Cool to have seen it evolve.
It is so amazing
So cool.
to see the kind of world we wish to live in, just kind of a farmer's market model. Spontaneously appear twice a year in Vancouver, and the cops, try as they might, are literally powerless to stop it. Even when they send in a phalanx of police officers to come and arrest us, it just makes us more
It ain't
determined.
happening.
Yeah, no, there's no way to arrest us all and to stop the farmers market from happening. So they've tolerated it. I guess they've learned to live with it now for the past couple of years, ever since July Cannabis Day 2015, where they learned how difficult it was to arrest somebody at one of our rallies. They familiarized themselves with how assertive.
Wait, that was 2010 at the last one we did.
2015 was the last time the
2015?
cops tried to arrest
Oh yeah,
anybody.
at Cannabis Day, the big crazy one.
The
of course.
crazy
Yeah.
one.
I thought you meant the successful hug power.
Oh, the successful hug power. Well, there's been a couple of those over the
There
years.
have, but I mean the latest
The
successful.
latest successful hug
Yeah.
power was the dissuasion of the arrest of what's his name?
Oh, it was Marijuana Man Steve.
Really?
Marijuana Man Steve.
Yeah, it was Marijuana Steve.
Yeah, they had a warrant for his arrest, and we said pick another day.
No, they didn't. They
claimed
harassed him. No, they didn't actually claim that. That was we're getting a little mixed up.
Okay.
They came in. It was just some rookie cop that was walking by and saw that he was smoking and openly selling pot, and he came to try to arrest him. And then so we all gathered around and did the hug power thing and
Rookie
had him
didn't
unarrested.
get the memo.
And we talked the cop down to him, and he said, well, if Steve shows up at the cop station tomorrow just to say what's up, then he would be okay. So that's what ended up happening, and Steve agreed to go later, but then they actually ended up charging him. So they ended up charging him for that occurrence, but I think it was either thrown out or something. It didn't end up being.
It didn't sound like it slowed him down one bit.
Well, I don't think much slows that guy down.
No, he's pretty much can't be intimidated by either the Evil Empire or the
Gangsters even.
Jabba the Hutt.
Right, yeah. Because, of course, for those who don't know, Marijuana Man Steve has a live, or did have a live broadcast running of his entire life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He really did. He would stream basically 24/7 in his house, and he would just sit there and talk to the camera for hours and hours and hours. And one
sell
time,
pot.
and sell pot and smoke it. And somebody came in with a crowbar. A team of gangsters came in with a crowbar and tried to steal his marijuana and money from him. But they basically chased those fuckers out of there, grabbed the crowbar and hit him back, or like found some way that those guys got their butt beat on the way out.
Is that still on YouTube?
Yeah, I think it is, of course. It's still on YouTube.
Marijuana Man Steve.
He's famous,
Crowbar,
man.
Google that.
Yeah.
Non-stop
Marijuana Man
entertainment.
Steve
I
is
definitely
famous.
want to Google that.
Yeah.
I do too.
When I've traveled overseas with him, we've gone to like Amsterdam and Spain and stuff together, and I swear to God, more than any other person I know in the pop movement, he is so famous, and people will come up to him wherever we are. Like I'm talking in the middle of like, Spain, and people come up speaking in Spanish, Marijuana Man, and like I'm not joking, I couldn't believe it. I was taken aback.
Power of YouTube.
But he's big on YouTube.
Whenever I have pictures or whatever with him, everyone that I know freaks out because everyone I know who knows anyone in the pot industry, they know Marijuana Man
He's a
Steve.
big star.
Yeah, it's pretty
He's a
crazy.
big star. He's been on Spike
Good for
TV on
him.
one of their shows one time. But anyways,
character.
we got windows.
Oh, hi.
Look at who it is.
Somebody's
out the
tapping
window.
on the window.
It's Opus.
Lower,
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, his head was cut off. Opus, our new joint engineer, or we're calling it PR tech or something, pre-roll technology.
Pre-roll tech, I like that PR tech.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, you're going to want to send that to the PR department.
That's right. Opus is now holding down the machine. He's the machine operator, generates the joints. So we're going to film a little video with Opus this week, and then we'll play it on next week's show, showing off the new joint rolling machine we have here at
Joint
Cannabis Culture.
generator.
The joint generator.
My day,
and the joint
we
engineer.
had to roll our
PR
joints
tech.
by hand.
Hey, I am absolutely covered in weed dust.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the day we used to have to roll our joints by hand, and we used to have to pay for pornography and water was free?
That's a story I can tell my grandchildren.
Yes.
Now we're living in the modern day.
Thanks, Opus. Love you, brother. Well, you'll be seeing him next week on the show talk about his role as the PR tech.
His role
You
as a
gotta-
roller.
His
Do you
role
need
as a
a
roller.
spark
His role
and
roll.
a bong rip to rip.
Oh, it's for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
should probably spark one of those joints and then send it to the left-hand side.
I should probably. David, I wanted to also ask you how your new job down at the docks is with those sideburns. I figure that's
Down
where,
at the docks
yeah.
as your mom's escort. Pretty good. She does like to be taken down to the docks. And then she says, love me with your sideburns.
That's just plain mean,
Love me
David.
with your sideburns.
It is an
Amazing.
interesting style choice you have there. It's kind of like Captain Highliner or something, you know?
Life is short. You should play with your face pubes.
Life is short. Sideburns are long.
You know, the longer the sideburns, the the better the lover.
Oh, is that a fact?
And, you know, your mom has proven that time and time again.
What's with this? You really got to think going with my mom onto the show today.
You know,
Like
she's
her.
really left an impression.
Yeah, that's not what she says about you. So
Burn.
yeah, I'll show you the messages later. But
On that note, just
Yes.
kidding.
so tune in for Kush Queen's show every Sunday at 2 and every Wednesday at 4.
That's correct.
Yes.
Can I have a hoot before I scoot? I'm really wanting to get high.
You want to light that?
Yes, please.
Light that joint.
Oh, joy.
Light
Joy.
that joint, and I'm gonna hit
Joy,
this
joy.
bong.
We need the lighter. We need the lighter. We need the
Here,
lighter.
wait, let me have
Oh,
the-
never
he's
mind.
got one.
I'm totally prepared for this eventuality.
Bong rips, purple kush.
Whoop, whoop.
Purple
That was
Kush.
a cloud and a half.
Kush.
All right.
And David's sparking a joint, and that fat joint that you rolled over there looks almost as good as the one that comes out of the machine. Maybe you ought to be Carly.
Thank you.
The joint
That's
tech.
flattering.
Yeah.
You can just
Appreciate
hand roll them.
They're not. Mine aren't quite as consistent.
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty good, but every once in a while, it's you know.
Okay.
I'm only
Well,
human. I'm not
I
a machine.
really
I'm a
appreciate
machine.
you coming on the show, Ms. Kush Queen, and David for
Thank
being
you
here.
so much for having
Popping
me.
in quickly to say hello.
Thank you for being
Hello.
here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, love you two very much.
I'm just going to have one more hoot and then I'll scoot.
Do you want a bong
damn.
rip?
Yeah, sure.
David's hitting the bong.
I've found that my tolerance, which has been pretty low over the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's
I know
gotta be
you
going
always
up.
kind
It's
of
gotten
hold
a bit
off.
higher.
There you go.
I've been
happens.
smoking more in my old age.
Beautiful.
Well, that's good because, you know, it helps prevent Alzheimer's. So it's probably, as you get older, it's probably one of the best times to increase your cannabis usage.
It prevents the rage that one feels when one's talking to an idiot canophobe.
Yes,
helps.
which they're coming out of the woodwork.
goodness.
David, you helped light the toaster oven joint, the toaster oven weed that suggested by the conservative
Conservatives?
MP,
Oh, right. They're getting toasted with toasters now.
little Jimmy.
don't
His
think
message.
Johnny.
Oh, little Johnny. Oh, sorry.
I
Well,
don't think
Jimmy,
this
Johnny.
guy knows how cannabis works. A toaster is not the ideal mode of administration.
No, it didn't taste very good.
Yeah, we had better luck just smoking out of aluminum cans when we were a kid. When we were young.
An apple is a
That
much
age.
more effective method of smoking than a
That's
toaster oven.
right. And then you can eat the apple and avoid paraphernalia charges.
Our viewers were very
Yeah.
nervous about your mutton chops when you were going into the toaster.
That's
they were very
true.
nervous.
Flammable, though they are
Wow.
attractive, they could quite well be flammable.
Danger is my middle name.
David Danger, Malmo Levine.
David Danger Levine.
It all went in. It all went green. And it went right in the hole.
What happened?
Sucked that really hard.
David, you suck too
I
hard.
didn't suck it too hard. You need what you need
Wow.
is a little plug nug for
Plug
the
nug.
bottom of the bowl
Here.
to keep that.
Or a glass screen or something
Or a
like
glass
that.
screen.
Okay, wait, We'll make sure you get a proper hit, David. Don't worry.
So while you guys are puffing away, and before we bring on our next guest,
Yes.
who is former in Winnipeg MLA. It was Winnipeg. It was in Manitoba, but I think it was Winnipeg, was it not? Yeah. MLA Bob Wilson, who many of you in our community know, and who has been a pot activist now for a while, and speaks at our rallies, and I'm not sure if Bob's ever actually been on our show before. No, so it's a real treat to have him here. We're going to talk about what's going on with the history of his predicament, and also a new film that's being worked on. So we'll be talking to them next. I also wanted to play this video I have right here about the Canna Clinic raids. David, you heard about this, didn't you?
I just heard about it today.
You just heard about it today?
It's,
So,
Here or in Toronto?
both.
it seems like the theory is that the provincial government in Ontario wants to see a very consolidated market, so the raids are a part of that. Or
Yeah.
removing the competition so only the rich can sell pot.
Well, of course. No, I don't doubt for a second this is all coming from the powers that be who want to see...
Apparently, they consulted with Bedrocan. I heard through the woodworks. It hasn't been confirmed, but there's a rumor
Be careful
drifting
with
out
that
there.
one.
There's
Be
a rumor
careful.
drifting out there. Apparently,
Okay, well, that's not confirmed.
it's not confirmed. I'm saying it's not
Right.
confirmed, but you know,
Are there any
Apparently there's been-
constitutional...
Well, we know that I don't know about consulting directly
but they've
with
been lobbied.
them,
They've lobbied.
But
to
these
them.
groups have been lobbying for a long time to have places like Cannabis Culture and Canna Clinic raided and have our staff arrested.
Is anyone making like a constitutional challenge or some sort of anti-monopoly challenge? Because there is.
Yes.
Is that happening with CC?
I'm not saying anything right now.
Okay, but someone is doing that.
But I believe that is happening
Good.
one way or another. Whether it's through us or not, I don't know. But I believe that our very talented lawyers are, trying to put something like that together. We've been talking about that for a while, so I don't know what the status is, but I'll find out about that. Because we need to do that one way or another. But I want to quickly play this video because, yes, they raided 7 Canna Clinic pot dispensaries.
horrible.
Just like they did at all our CC ones before. And they raided places out here in Vancouver. I believe they were private residences, not stores, though, like they did with Jody's house when they came and raided us. They raided our store here as well, right here where we're sitting at 307 West Hastings. So, and that was only a couple months ago.
We don't want legalization
the
for the
video.
rich. We
I'm
want
gonna play it right
legalization
now.
for all.
That's right. Legalization is for everybody, not just the stock market weed people.
The riches of the earth are for all, says the Old Testament. And I think it's probably one of the smartest things ever written in the Bible. We're meant to enjoy the riches of the earth, and That's one economy no one should ever attempt to monopolize. It's our community heritage. It's a way to get everybody to be self-sufficient. It's a way to get everybody off the welfare rolls. It's a way to spread the wealth of the world around so we all have a nice time in this short time while we're alive.
Shit, that's how they were talking to God in the Bible.
That's
Moses and his burning bush.
Death is infinite. Life is just a short little warm spark between two infinite black nothings. And we should have a nice time while we're here. And everyone should have a nice time while we're here. We shouldn't hoard. We should learn to share.
Yes,
Agreed.
I
Get it
agree.
together, people. Come on,
I
get
agree.
it together.
Very
Legalization
fine words,
for
David.
all.
Yes. Mic drop. David Mama Levine.
Drops the mic.
Okay, here's
Okay, bye.
Here is a CTV clip of this Toronto police raid 7 Canna Clinic pot dispensaries. Check this out. I'm pressing play now. Hopefully it will work for all of y'all.
Singing's
there's an ad.
2018 luxury
Oh,
river
no.
cruise.
There's an ad we have to wait through here. I'm so sorry. We can
That's
turn the volume down.
That's what YouTube does.
It's scenic. The flight, where is it saying? It wants you to go somewhere. Contact your travel agent. There you go. Okay, here, check this out.
Meanwhile, the crackdown on medical marijuana dispensaries continues.
I think it's a waste of money and a waste of the police time. There's much more they could be doing.
Police officers faced some criticism as they removed bags of evidence from this Canna clinic on Queen West this afternoon. This was one of 15 warrants executed across the country. That includes 12 here in Toronto, 3 more in Vancouver. All are related to the Canna clinic operation. Police also seized items from the storefront on Broadview near Gerrard. 6 people have been arrested in Toronto so far. They are expected to appear at Old City Hall Court tomorrow.
So I guess it wasn't a very long video, but yeah. So there you go. Toronto Police raid 7, and it's kind of sad when Toronto Police have to come out here to Vancouver like this. The Vancouver Police apparently won't do their bidding for them, or don't want to do their bidding. They don't want to spend any money on going after people for this.
Well, it's a waste
That's
of
their
resources.
policy. Yeah. So we like the Vancouver Police, but we don't like when they're helping the Toronto Police very much. I just wanted to say
Agreed.
thanks again to Kush Queen, and thanks for coming by, Cushy.
Thank you so
We love
much
you
for
lots.
having me.
Absolutely.
I think it's been a really long time since I've been on your show.
I
so,
know, I
like,
can't even
I think I've
remember
been
the
on
last
it
time.
maybe just once.
That's terrible.
So-
You should be on my show all the time.
Yeah, for sure,
But
and
you're never
vice
around on
versa.
Fridays. You're always here
Yeah,
on
I
Wednesdays.
do work. I work my ass off for very long hours, Fridays and Saturdays at the dispensary. So, but I made it work today.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It took the
Yeah.
day off. Jeez, I feel.
Well, not the day. I just took about an hour or so off. I am rushing back to work.
so
now,
people can go and find you at the store.
They
when-
can, yeah.
Tell 'em
I
where
will
it
be
is
there
again.
till 10 p.m. 2137 Commercial Drive.
There you go.
VPMS, Vancouver Pain Management Society, where you can get all your great goodies and you can get your Butter King butter.
That's the best butter you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Cushy.
Thank
Love
you for
lots.
having me. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah. And make sure you watch Sunday. I have a special guest.
Sunday, 2 p.m. on Pod TV. And Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Pod TV. There's no shortage of Kush Queen around, that's for sure. All right. So, you did. Whoa, down.
Oh my god, I forgot we're still live.
Where-
I'm used to being done. Everything's done, you know.
Yeah, we're still live. They might not have heard you, but yeah. You
Says
said
it
it.
a second time
Yeah.
just in case.
Love you, Cushy.
Love you.
Awesome. And this purple Kush is just, baby. I really would love to be able to
Would
get
you
you
like-
guys to accurately see how purple this weed really is. This weed is so purple. All right, so I want to bring on my next guest right away.
Did you want
And-
a bong rip or a joint?
Well, I'll have a joint. Let's light the joint, and then we'll do the bong rip in a little bit here. But I guess the way we should do this is because not only do we have Bob Wilson on, we also have Peter. Now, I don't know if I should use Peter's last name. We call him Peter the Great.
Peter Lipsky, yeah.
Peter Lipsky. He doesn't mind. Okay. And also Bob's daughter, Jerry Jen, who is going to sing us the ballad of Bob Wilson. So I don't know what we should do first. Do you want to do the song first? Do we want to explain? Maybe we should do a little explanation stuff first, and then we'll hit you with the song. So you guys go ahead and sit in the hot seats there. We'll get you over there.
Okay, now the page that I sent you, that Facebook page,
Yeah.
did you link on it?
I did. I have some videos and stuff. So we're going to
Okay,
play.
I would, if possible, play this one first. Do you have that one?
Oh, okay. Oh, is that I don't know if I have that one up, but I can get it up and we can play that for sure.
You can open with that one.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
I should be able to do that, no problem. So we have a couple videos to play. for all of y'all out there that kind of explain what this whole situation is about. Now, Bob was an MLA in Manitoba who was wrongfully convicted of smuggling marijuana, or at least aiding and abetting, or some. We'll get into the details of what the charges were and what actually happened. But Bob was, this is an extremely unfair thing, wrongfully convicted, and basically. There's a lot of evidence that shows that now, and there's a documentary being put together that will show some of that. But I wanted to play some clips for you guys here from a couple news reports that we have. But Peter just gave me a new one that I should post, that we should play first ahead of the other one. So this is going to take just a second. I wanted to hear you guys are in the hot seat now. Good to see you guys, and good to have you guys on the show.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Now we're going to get you a microphone. Does Peter have a mic? Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, thanks guys for coming on the show. Appreciate having you here. And it's the first time that you've been. Well, Peter, have you been on the show before?
Yes, a couple of times, talking about the documentary and the title No Ordinary Trial. And editing can be very time consuming. So we're still working on it. But we can provide a little bit of an update today. And Bob is here visiting Vancouver. So he's the man.
Yeah. And Bob, it's great to have you on the show finally after so long.
Yes.
And I mean, I really respect you, and I respect, the drive that you have, and how, you've become, you speak at our rallies, and you've become part of our community in a very strong way. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to get into the details of what happened with you, but I thought it'd be good to probably play one of these videos quickly here. Now, you guys did prepare a little Facebook page, actually, as like a CCN preview, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and I guess we should probably share the link to that as well to get people to go there. But I'm just going to click on this video here, and I should be able to... Oh, that's my telephone. Is volume on? Hold on a sec here. Now, I should be able to use the window that I already have open to see this. I'm just going to balance this out a little bit here. I believe it's about there.
I'll add that the music's from my band, GP5.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Jet Petroleum.
Cool. Okay, here we go. So this should give us what we need here. This one might not be perfectly centered, but enjoy this video, and then we'll be back with more. Yeah, okay, here we go. I'm still on there. You can see some of the headlines there that dominated the media at the time this was happening. And this was started in 1979. Bob, you were arrested and went through to 1980, the trial. So it really dominated the headlines there. We're also going to play a little news video here. This one is from more recent times. And now this was when, it's going to get into some of the details, so I don't need to explain
CTV.
it here,
This is when it was on CNN.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was some American
That's why I'm
connection
here
as well.
today, CC.
Yeah, there you go, exactly, yes. And no, we did not steal our backgrounds from CNN at all.
Not at all.
I swear to
no.
God, we didn't steal anything from them.
Yes.
Yeah. American Morning. But no, okay, so let's play this other video here, and then we'll get back to you guys in a second.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. Where are we here? Play you.
He was a fugitive hiding from police for 30 years, accused of a drug heist filled with scandal and involving a provincial MLA.
Tonight, in this CTV News exclusive, Ian Jackson McDonald breaks his silence. CTV's Crime Watch reporter Stacey Ashley went inside the remand center to speak with McDonald, why he says he and the former MLA are innocent.
In his heyday, he lived the high life. Yachts, planes, even pools, all marked with his nickname, Big Mac. A lifestyle long gone. Ian Jackson McDonald, now 72, is behind bars. His tan faded, gold jewelry replaced with prison ID tags.
I'd be quite happy if I died this afternoon.
Inside the remand center, he agreed to talk to CTV News, sharing how for 30 years he was on the run. Escaping custody, he says, thanks to a teenage security guard who simply let him go.
So I walked out, and I've been gone ever since.
During that time, he went by Jack Hunter, lived a normal life, ran an appliance store, even went to church every Sunday. Freedom lost in January when McDonald was arrested in Florida. He's facing charges from a drug smuggling case that goes back to 1979. It's alleged up to 225 kilograms of marijuana
Smuggled from boats from Florida.
Oh, jeez, what a bunch of crap. None of that's true at all.
He says he's only guilty of talking to a Canadian who came to his house one Sunday asking him about hauling drugs to Winnipeg.
So you never smuggled?
No. I had a nice home on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and I bought and sold boats, and that's it.
Bob Wilson, McDonald's friend and former MLA, served 7 years in prison for his role in the crime.
I'll buy you all a drink when I get out of jail.
During the massive RCMP investigation, officers even tapped phones at the legislature. Wilson always maintained his innocence and always insisted McDonald would clear his name.
Do you think he's innocent?
Oh, I do, yes, absolutely.
We caught up with Wilson to break the news.
Wow. Wow. Why did you hit me with that?
After 31 years, Wilson needed a second to compose himself. He hopes this could mean a new trial.
I always prayed that Jack would tell the truth. Because how could I? There was no drugs, there was no money.
Something McDonald will now have to prove for his own sake, in his own case. He says he has cancer, and that all he wants is to get back to Florida to be with his wife of 40 years.
Well, people my age should be at home in bed.
For now, Bed will be here in custody at the remand center as McDonald finally awaits his fate. Stacey Ashley, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Volume. There's our volume. So at least that one gives you a little bit of the story there that we're about to get into. And I hope our mics and everything are working okay. Lissa, it's all good? Oh, yeah, it should be all good. It might have been a little bit quiet on the video there for you. For some reason, our sound system, that video was just a little bit on the quiet side. But so Bob, this is 1979. You are an MLA in Winnipeg.
Right.
And you're just basically minding your own business. And what happened? Tell us about what exactly, like how this was brought to your attention.
Well, of course, it never fell into place until it started to become clear and I had nothing to worry about. According, that's how confident I was.
Right.
But then.
You just heard the rumblings of this. Did somebody say something to you about it first, or was it recorded right in
no,
the media right away?
It was actually sort of a total surprise because I was at work at the Justice Estimates and Legislature, and I phoned home and my housekeeper said that Jack was here from Florida. Well, the truth was that Michael Gabati and Jack McDonald spent 3 days in Montreal because he was there to get the NHL franchise for Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. And he was a friend of yours.
Yeah. And so Gabati came back on the 10th, and for some reason or other, Gabati drove him over to my house, and of course I didn't know a single thing, but later on you find out that they wiretapped my house, and one of the Winnipeg Drug Squad had been able to get a wiretap authorization. And between then and October 81, there was constant madness of wiretapping all over the city, and and this is how they put the case together. So why I'm here? I'm the oldest politician, but Richard Hadfield has passed on. But we always used to be 1-2 in Canada. But basically. It's just one of these things that this fellow was paid. He promised his wife on the phone, which could have been trial evidence, that he was going to make a deal. And he got paid $73,000, but of course the paper said $100,000. And they relocated him, witness protection for him and his wife and his son, who were all three of them were facing 7 years each. And so they made that deal. And he had to speak at my trial. And of course, my shouting all these years has been nothing he says is the truth. So now we're on to a new phase. And that phase is that Bill Wright, the same one in 1979, is now a millionaire living in Courtenay, BC. He sold Georgia Strait Auto. And he sold his 2 scrap yards. He was a auto recycling person.
Mm-hmm.
And
but he's somebody that you never met. But he was actually the drug trafficker who was then, then testified for the Crown again. And what he said was not true, but. That's part of the story. The documentary is the background and why this happened and how it happened.
So it was based on the testimony of a couple people, basically.
Well, yes, but then again, we had something to auto, like a Shriner was also at that number 2 Middlegate that night, and Bill Harris, they took him up, trying to entrap him on May the 5th, 1980, and on page 32 and 71, he literally says, Bob and I were on the 3rd floor, and Bob was showing me his new rec bar and poured me a rye press. So here you have the head of the Shriners motorcycle crew, a millionaire, owned Pyle Foundations, but his testimony, so I'm overconfident again, saying, hey, I'm going to be walking, but they never played it.
Really?
They never played it.
And why is that? Well,
this is all part of what unfortunately is the drug scene in Winnipeg.
Right.
This is why we're coming out more every time. We always had. So what basically I'm saying is, this is long enough. We're going to name names, and when I see Peter here will tell you about the Gabatis. The amount of people that were put aside, what did they call it? Stayed, or
in court? Yes, of course.
Well, they basically.
Pretty well, all the people who are actually trafficking and laundering money were let go because they targeted Bob, and that's part of the documentary. It's the more research I did, the more it becomes like real life film noir, and there's a political angle. And Bob had a bullseye on his back, and then the research that I've done, which is on the Facebook page, shows that it was the the federal drug investigation began with the Michael Gabati, but then when the Winnipeg Jets got pardon me?
He was the informant.
No, he was actually put up some of the. I could read some of the page, but I'll just try to summarize, and then in court, his name keeps being mentioned as he was the person that was putting up the money. But then subsequently it was Bob, and then Bob got charged. But my theory is that because of the NHL franchise, then that would have, they had to save the NHL franchise, and then for political reasons,
he owned
Bob
it was the Winnipeg Jets.
One of the positive things from my horror story is Winnipeg did get from WHA to Winnipeg Jets, and of course they lasted 16 years, and then they went to Phoenix. But in the meantime, all 24 other co-accused and all these narcotic gangs that were in Winnipeg, they all were set aside. What do you call it, Peter?
Oh, they were let go. Yes.
What's that word you use all the
Stayed,
time?
or
They were stayed.
Right.
They were spared.
They were. I love that.
Because all those headlines.
Jeez.
Bob and MLA got all those headlines, and that was what it seems that was part of what the motivation.
Right.
But also
they wanted to dump it off on
you.
You were the scapegoat.
But what makes it really...
But look at the positive things. I've come to all your 420s. I've traveled to BC quite often.
Yeah.
And I have a wonderful daughter who is on my side, and here now she's got a song about me. So
yeah, and we should listen to that song.
Yeah, the Ballad of Bob Wilson.
We should do that, and let's we'll get you, and maybe we should mic the guitar somehow. I guess we could just get you to stand in front of a microphone. Yeah, we'll get Alyssa to set that up there. And then once after the song, we'll go ahead and play a clip of the documentary that the trailer for the documentary. Yeah.
But I wanted to mention that the body, it's his son, Peace Naturals.
Oh.
Sold for like $10 million.
Gabati's son started Peace Naturals. Isn't that interesting? Wow. Huh. Man, there's so much shady business that goes on behind the scenes. It's just unbelievable.
The rich get the license.
Yeah, the rich, exactly. Wow. Well, and
his family was spared because of the NHL franchise, and Bob got targeted.
right, and of course, somebody who has the NHL franchise, who has a lot of money, a millionaire, obviously these people can buy their way out of just about anything. And so, wow, it's unbelievable, and it's a crazy thing and it's a crazy story that they pinned it on you. We're gonna, I can't wait to see what you come up with, Peter, there for the movie, because it's such a crazy story.
Well, just one of these.
There's the
420 bonsai.
What a cutie! I love that little scarf. So adorable. All right.
Well, I'm very proud to announce a new song in my repertoire. It's about my father, Bob Wilson, and his wrongful conviction of 38 years. The Ballad of Bob Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it was September 26th, 1979. The RCMP busted through the door and arrested that daddy of mine. They gave him 7 years in Stony Mountain Penitentiary. Bob Wilson was an innocent man of conspiracy. Innocent, he's innocent. Bob Wilson was framed. They falsified the evidence and destroyed his family name. Conspiracy, conspiracy. Bob Wilson was screwed. They always get their man in the end. Gives me the blues. Bill Wright, the informant, lied and testified on the stand. And Bruce McFarland, the prosecutor, put away an innocent man. They took away his freedom, his pension, and his rights. I tell you, honey, I have nightmares every night. Innocent, he's innocent. Bob Wilson was framed. They falsified the evidence and destroyed our family name. Conspiracy, conspiracy, the fix was in the mix. Bob's lawyer was a gambling man and up to dirty tricks. Now it's 40 years later, we're still fighting the good fight. Free Bob Wilson's conviction now and set this record right. I said free Bob Wilson conviction now and fight the good fight. Woo.
Yeah.
Free Bob Wilson. Woo.
Great work.
Yay, Daddy-O.
Oh, that's awesome. Jerry Jen Wilson, thank you very much. That's awesome. Great work. And great song, too. That's very cool. And your band is, say the name of it again for me.
East Vamps and JP5.
Oh, the East Vamps. Yeah, I know you guys.
Yeah, the East Vamps.
And the song in the video clip that we played. Yeah, for sure. The song in the video
clip. We have an album
clip.
out called Bring Out the Big Guns. And JP5 is on Joey Shithead's label from DOA.
Awesome.
Sudden Death Records, Hotbox, JP5.
Awesome.
Here I am.
I love that. I really like your Monster Mash outfit as well.
Oh, thank you very much. I got Bela Lugosi, the Bride of Frankenstein, somewhere, everywhere, everywhere.
That is very cool. Yeah, so I do want to play this video that we have. Now, this is Peter. Can you set the trailer up for us and tell us a little bit about the movie that's coming out before we play the clip? And thank you so much, Jerry Jen. That's awesome.
Yes, well, this is a trailer for a documentary in progress. I've done considerable research. No Ordinary Trial, and it examines some of the trial transcripts and I think that's, the trailer kind of...
trailer will explain itself.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So this is No Ordinary Trial, the trailer. And we'll flip this over and make sure it works.
Bob Wilson, everybody.
I was a rising politician with a great future. I became Canada's first political pot prisoner. Lyon called me into his office with Mercier present and said, we don't mind you criticizing lawyers, but we want you to promise you'll never bring in a private member's bill to do away with their grants. And I remember his words, lawyers are our friends. We're standing outside the law courts building, as those are the steps they led me up to the courthouse for my hearings and, of course, eventually the trial itself.
My name is Jerry Jen. I'm the daughter of Mr. Bob Wilson, who, in my heart, feel was wrongfully convicted.
On May the 10th, 1979, the RCMP were probably stationed right where I am. Shaking my head even today, and why I continue is because I was up against people that had studied the plans of the DEA and all the new techniques that they were learning is how to, on the war on drugs, how they were going to convict everybody through conspiracy. Jack McDonald apparently arrived in Winnipeg by a Learjet with Michael Gabati, and they flew into Montreal for the NHL Board of Governors meeting to seek a franchise for the NHL. He had to reveal that he was a U.S. and DEA informant. Bob Wilson was a tourist and had nothing to do with the investigation. All the U.S. evidence was suppressed from the trial and never saw the light of day. It's not like a deathbed confession, but he wants to set things straight.
Bob Wilson never met this guy.
God is correct and the truth is correct, and everything else that McFarland makes up is a fabrication. be tossed into a never-ending nightmare of false accusations. I am tormented as we speak.
I spent most of my time trying to overcome my 2 convictions.
And I remained a loyal supporter of Spivak. And I guess one of the things they always say about me, I went down with the ship because I felt that he was the right man to be Premier of the province. I'm still fighting those wrongful convictions
To finally overturn the conviction for Bob Wilson.
Democracy is in no danger because our justice system will never, ever again frame people for career purposes.
We're back
refer
again.
people to this page because it has some other Facebook pages
Yeah.
on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter, tell them about
Bob Wilson CCN preview page. Yeah.
Yeah, and how is there like a shortcut for that? Or if you just type in Bob Wilson CCN preview in the Finder, you'll find that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. And then the links with some background and
That's all right in the background there. They can't hear that. So, yeah. That's great, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on. And so, is there an ETA on the movie? I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. I know you're in the editing process, but
Well, I'd love to finish it this summer and have it in the fall. You know, yes. So Bob is here, so that helps to keep us motivated and on track. And yeah, so. Yes, if anybody's interested in the meantime, some of the links that I've talked about prepared for this show are on a Facebook page, Bob Wilson CCN Preview.
yeah. And you can, if you type that into the Facebook bar, that should come up.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Jeremiah.
Awesome. I really
for
appreciate you
having
guys
us
coming on, and thanks a lot, Bob, for finally
Okay,
coming
we'll
on.
see
So
you
great
on
to have you here.
We'll see you on Cannabis Day at Thornton Park.
That's right. Yeah. And Bob, you're going to speak at Cannabis Day, are you? Do you want a speaking spot? We could throw you on the list there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep.
Yeah, because we have our activist speakers and stuff, so it'd be great to have you.
Sure. I'll leave something with you, and that'll give us some.
For sure. That'd
Some
be
excitement.
Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Excellent. So check that out. No Ordinary Trial. And look who it is now. We have a bit of an invasion in the studio here.
Taking over.
Yeah, we got the boys here.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going
Look
on?
at who it is
Mic's on.
in the hot seat over there.
Hey, it's me. It's Greg.
Look at that
X. What's going
sexy
on?
bastard.
It's not even Thursday, but I'm here. But I'm back.
I know, you were just here yesterday. It seems like just yesterday.
Well, what it is it's kind of like since Al wasn't sleeping under the desk last night.
I know.
Figured it was just as easy to stay here.
No, he's still there.
No. He Skyped in. He's
Yeah.
over in Spain, but he'll be back next week or something. We finally confirmed he's at a yoga camp over in Spain.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't feel anybody tugging on my pant leg during the show. Usually I just get a joint pass.
I thought that was Johnny B, but
and Johnny B also hasn't shown up today either.
well, that's okay.
So-
I brought a couple of other people who folks
did.
might recognize. Yes,
You did.
I brought one gentleman who is well known to Pod TV, or at least regular watchers of my show anyway have seen the Saltwater Cowboy Tim McBride.
You took the book
Here.
there. Yeah,
I was just gonna pass them down. The pot hauler, the pot hauler himself, Tim McBride, the author of The Rise and Fall of the Marijuana Empire, Saltwater Cowboy. He's been doing Tim's Tales on my show for the last year and change every 2 weeks. He's in town for the weekend. We've been hanging out. We've been taking around some of the sites, introducing some of the people. You know, met him some of the folks at CC. We took him to VPMS. He's going to do Cushy show tomorrow. All great things.
We should get him over.
And actually, along the way too, I picked up another guy who just has amazing foresight and vision. And well, y'all know him as the Swammy. I call him the King, Freddie Pritchard.
Freddie Man.
Ladies and
Tim.
gentlemen.
Good to have you on the show.
Hey, man.
Thanks for
I'm
coming
so glad
on,
to
man.
be here.
Yeah, we'll get this cam worked out a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to hand the mic to these guys. We're going to adjust the cameras a little bit. But yes, Tim is a smuggling legend, the 30 million pounds through Florida in the 80s. The Weed George Jung, the author of this incredible book. And
Yeah,
and
Tim,
of
you
course,
should tell them about the book. Show that off and tell us about what you got there.
Yeah, just a little story of my life growing up in the Everglades. I'm what the United States government described as a third-generation pot hauler. That means essentially that my friends and I learned from the fathers and the uncles and older cousins and the generation before us, and they learned from the generation before them when they were kids. So the story that I tell throughout the book is, not some boring-ass statistical romp, through the war on drugs. This is my life growing up as a kid with all my friends and how we became what we became in the story that I wrote. And, it tells a story of 40 years and 3 generations of pot smuggling that went virtually impugned through the Caribbean all those years. And the United States government had really no idea of what and how much was actually taking place, and this is, why I had to write the book. All of us agreed that somebody should write the book that was there, somebody that had been through the whole thing from front to back, that knows from A to Z what was going on, and to tell the story truthfully and in a way that rather than 30 years from now or so, have some journalist or some historian patch quilt the story that he thinks happened. We're going to tell you exactly what happened. So what you're reading is absolutely the truth.
That's right.
Law enforcement validation is in there. The guys that chased me, I'm actually friends with now, the U.S. Customs agents.
Carly just pointed out a line.
It just opened the page randomly.
And one of the line is, and we were off to pick up 60,000 pounds of weed. Or so we thought.
Yeah.
It's a very enticing line to open the book up to.
Yeah.
Your first night.
This is, and I'm not giving away a whole bunch here, because the book is jammed. It's jammed full.
Maybe one spoiler.
There's
Bait 'em.
There's a decade worth of stuff going on in there, but I was actually introduced to this little island in the Everglades by my best friend at the time, and he called me one day. I had just come back from Hollywood, LA. I was working out there for Sammy Davis Jr. I was one of the dudes at the time.
Wow.
And
Sammy.
Sammy. So I came back, and
that's a pretty big.
My man calls
Sammy,
me.
Man.
My man calls me and goes, "Hey, I'm moving to Florida tomorrow." He says my sister's his brother-in-law ran a fish house on this little island, Chuckaluski. He said, "I'm going to go down and work on a stone crab boat. You want to go?" And I said, "Fuck yeah, man!" So I packed my shit in my car, and off I went the next day with these guys, and I show up on the island, and I had another job there for a few weeks while I waited for an opportunity to work on the boat. The captain was waiting for an opportunity himself to get a crew that he could trust, and he knew, because he knew where I came from. And it was a town of just under 500 people. Half the town is involved in what was going on. But at that time, it was like ghost stories, it's just things that you hear in this. So I get hired on about 3 weeks later, so I'm working with these guys, and I expect to go out and pull traps and go stone crabbing. Well, I wake up and I look out of the bunk, and Captain's got a big grin on his face, and he goes, "We're not going to pull traps today, Timmy." He says, "We're going to go haul a load of pot off a freighter from Colombia tonight." And I said, "Cool, man, let's go." So my first day working on that crab boat to go fishing was my first time ever hauling pot. We moved about 15 tons that night.
Wow.
And then turned around.
Tons, not pounds.
Yeah, no, we're talking tons. 30,000 pounds.
Jesus.
So we turned around the very next night.
That's the same face I make.
Couple elephants today. Is that a couple
I'm trying
elephants?
to visualize it in my mind.
Yeah,
is that
a couple elephants?
How much space does that take up?
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in size? Like how many is that? Like skids and skids?
Oh yeah, no, dude, it's like probably fill this room 3 times.
Jesus.
Oh my God, that sounds. I just want to swim in that. That sounds like heaven.
But what? And we turn around the next day, and I get on the boat. We're gonna go out fishing. We're gonna go do the same thing. So the very next night, we unloaded nearly 20 tons the next night.
Oh man.
So around 80,000 pounds we moved in the 2 nights. The first 2 nights of working on this fucking boat. So I got paid rookie pay.
Any square groupers?
Yeah, you know what? Read the book. So that was considered rookie pay at the time. I got $5,000 for each night, and I'm thinking, wow, this is fucking great. I got this shit stuffed in the freezer. I hollowed out a piece of bread and shit. I was trying to do
not bad for a night's
everything you
work.
could think of as shit.
Yeah.
But what I didn't understand, and what I found out very soon, was that now that the captain realized he had a crew and some guys that he knew their background, where they come from, that he could trust to do this shit. We started working, 1, 2, 3 nights, 4 nights a week sometimes. And there's a story that there's in the chapter that I write in the book where our crews worked 28 nights in a row.
Holy shit.
And some nights there were 2 and 3 vessels offshore with 30 and 40 tons on them waiting to be unloaded besides the one we're going after.
Well, when you love your
we
job.
couldn't get to them fast enough. It was crazy. And this is the story that I talk about, so you know, and I could go on and on and on. I'd take, 4 hours of your time
Yeah,
like we did last
and you
night.
do every 2. Yeah, we did 4 hours on my show yesterday, and every 2 weeks, of course, on the show as well, we have him on for Tim's Tales that elaborates a little on the book.
And we don't want to spoil the end.
No,
or
but that was
anything.
my introduction into this little crowd of people down there, and it was, and what's the likable thing about the story and what's turning everybody onto it is that the nonviolent nature in which it was done. We were all family, man.
Right.
We were done. It was done generational, and as it turns out, where the loads were coming from, primarily from Colombia, the guy I was working with, my connection in Colombia they were generational as well. So there was no, dark, dealings in back corners and rooms and shit like that, man. I was making $100 million deals on street corner downtown Miami, drinking Cuban coffee and dunking Cuban bread in it and shit, and doing a handshake.
And why not? To me, it's a form of civil disobedience.
Mhm.
You're actually helping people by bringing them something they need, like you're rescuing people.
Exactly.
Essentially.
And
I've treated the same way as Mark Emery selling seeds.
There you go.
Same deal.
And I spoke to that very thing, a number of times that, when somebody says drug smuggler, well, we weren't drug smugglers. We were pot haulers.
It's weed.
And then somebody says, well, yeah, but, now you're a criminal. Well, no, we weren't criminals. We were outlaws because it wasn't our law. It was your fucking law.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And it was
we
a
didn't
wrong
necessarily
law.
agree with it, so what the fuck? We justified it in our own way, so we did what we knew how to do best, and the only way that it could ever have been done, when you consider the geographical area that we're working with, 10,000 islands, and is literally called that, and it is literally that. That was the backyard in which we had to play, all of us kids, So we were the ones actually doing the work, and the grown-ups were going, running the show.
Right.
So when everything went to shit in 1983 and 1984, 250 plus federal agents came each year, locked everything down, and
Wow.
the first time they came to town, we knew they were coming like a week before they got there because the intelligence that the adults had at that time was such that it's coming.
Yeah.
So, but the second time they came,
Freddie knows.
they came the following year.
Freddie knew. Freddie called it. He knew it was coming. It was Freddie finally found out.
That guy knows everything.
He calls it all out way before it happens.
Years before it happened.
But it obviously wasn't a
Oracle.
success for them, because it was like, so they came almost a year to the day. Another 250 plus agents from every branch of law enforcement from around the country.
Wow.
Descended on this little 500 plus minus people in this town. And this time we just went, okay, what game's over, here we go. And a lot of them self-surrendered and shit like that. But that cleared the first and second generations, which, there was, and it takes, anywhere from 40 to 60 people to make one job work overnight and through the next day.
Yeah.
Because you take all this shit from offshore, you smuggle it in through the islands, you get it into it with a large boat. 15 other small boats come out and take it through the passes and put it in one of my buddy's houses that we've completely taken all the furniture out of and stacked the bits from back to front, every room, bathroom,
Jesus.
living room, kitchen, den, dining room shit. And if you pull the door shut, there's still more shit coming, moved to buddy's house next door.
It must smell really good in there.
Yeah, so the next day,
The whole town had to put in on it.
and that scenario happens from sundown to sunup. Then the shore crew takes over, and this is when the girls get involved in the operation, and the trucks and the cars and the vans and the shit start showing up to the house, and they get loaded, and we tell them where to go, Miami, and a plaza to drop the shit. Give them a radio that everybody in the organization has. We got 60 of these fucking things, so communication is key. This person takes off driving to Miami, but they're never alone. We've got 6 or 8 spotters, and all they do is drive back and forth to Miami. I know where every Marine Patrol officer is. I know where every highway patrolman is. I know where everybody's at. And if they're not working, there's somebody parked outside their house watching them. Shit like that. So we're running this stuff to Miami, and we developed what the government now calls a dead drop. Our guys would go to a plaza in Miami with the loads in their vehicles or trucks or whatever it is, get out of it, and I'd have a spotter on the other end pointing out this is our vehicle, that's our vehicle, and we'd have a Cuban partner get in it, go unload it, and bring it back. So we had a little bit of safety buffer in there. So there's safety valves designed into the whole thing, but you got to read the book to get the whole gist of it. So that's it's a bit of it in a nutshell. And this is just this much of the this
Yeah.
And the story is absolutely incredible, man. He's been it's an incredible addition to the show. The copies are available of the book. There are limited numbers, but you can get them Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Chapters, Indigo, the audible.com. You can get all that. And
there's an audible.com version?
Yes, there is.
Damn.
Absolutely, there
Do
is.
you read it yourself?
No. You know what?
It's hard.
That's coming though.
Oh,
You
that
know,
would be awesome.
At the time it was being done, pre-production was done so rapidly that when the voice was cast, it was a gentleman by the name of Wes Talbot, and this is an interesting story as well. You know, because Audible had picked up the contract after I scratched it out of my publisher's contract, so they went whoop, jumped in, and so now I was too late to be the voice. So I get an email from the guy from Wes is going to be he says, if you have any questions, just call me or email me, shit like that. So I got a number. I call the guy, and I go, Wes, yeah, Wes Talbot, yeah. And I said, this is Saltwater Cowboy, your next project. And he's like, oh, dude, I'm so glad you called. I was looking on YouTube and shit, or trying to find something that I could hear your voice. So it was important for me to hear your voice. And I said, you know what? That's cool, because that's why I'm calling you. Because if you'd have picked up the phone and said, hello, this is Wes Talbot, I said, fuck, and I'd hung the phone up and called my agent. This is not the guy, man. So we went through that a little bit. And he had done mostly Stephen King's work. Mine was the 32nd book for Audible that he'd done, but prior to that, mostly Stephen King stuff. So he's got
I love those books.
He's got a nice voice, but I'm kind of biased
I
to
think
my
it's
own.
hard.
But you can't get the audiobook. You can't get the audiobook autographed. And as a matter of fact, they're so hard to come by. And because I got such a good relationship with the man, I went up and got 100 copies of the book.
There you go.
And I actually have them available for sale for $40 autographed, that you can go ahead and email me information at info@expertjoints.com. We go ahead and get them.
Entrepreneur.
Well, what happened? They sort of fell in my lap, but they're available. And yeah, if you want them signed, they're going fast. We'll probably put some in the store, but if we can, we'll work something out there.
If we don't have them in the store already, we should.
Yeah. Well, I have I have a little stockpile of them, and you can get them in other sources. But yes, I'm going to work through some of them. So if you want an autographed copy from Tim,
website, for God's sake.
Well, yes, and if you want an autographed copy from Tim, he leaves here on Sunday, so you can email info@expertjoints.com today or tomorrow. We can get you an autographed copy, and we can send it to you, and it's like $40 plus shipping. So
there
it
you
is
go.
what it is. There you go, right now.
We got money being waved.
And I got a pen right here, so that works out well. But yeah, no, it's an incredible story. Pot Hauler Tim, original Saltwater Cowboy, Twitter and Instagram. He's amazing, and yeah, it probably would have been Freddie who would have been that. My guess.
Yeah, my publisher, as it turns out, one of my advanced readers' copies before the book came out in print was offered to a very cool guy by the name of Bruce Porter. Wrote a badass book called Blow.
Yeah.
And he had offered a very cool review that appears on the back of the book. If you want to check it out.
Jared, please.
New York Times bestselling author of Blow, Bruce Porter, says, a wild and entertaining true story by one of the biggest pot haulers in American history. Speedboat chases, women, Colombian mansions. Tim McBride's tale of excess is a thrill to read.
My man.
Damn, sounds good.
Yeah, and I equate him to. I often call Tim on my show, besides the weed Hulk Hogan, because of the bandana and the beard and the muscles. And usually he doesn't have a shirt on. For those who know from my show, he's covered in weed tattoos and shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's all muscly and shit. Yeah. Good, pretty good for an old fucker, but they grow those.
When's the movie?
Well, that's the thing.
Throwing thousands of bales every day.
Yeah, the weed George Jung is what I call him. But
there you go.
But it was just a lot of fun. And it's important for me for people to understand the very nonviolent nature in which this whole industry can be done.
Yeah.
And when they unfortunately took it out of our hands in the late 1980s, when they came up with Operation Peacemaker, they called it, another 250 plus federal agents from every branch of law enforcement in the United States descended once again and took out my crew, which had the nickname by that time of Saltwater Cowboys. So we have the prologue, the very first story of the book, tells you why I got that name and how I got it.
The government didn't want competition, I guess.
Yeah, no. But, and this story won't be told by anybody other than myself, because the government's not going to be willing to tell you that the war on drugs that they were fighting and spending millions, billions of dollars, and trillions by now was a war fought against kids. A bunch of kids that were running around in cutoffs and bare feet and hauling fucking weed, man, just because. And after a while, it wasn't about money. It was just about, how much can we do? How much can we get away with?
What was the
We
biggest
did-
night you did? Just for the biggest night you did, just because.
Oh yeah, well, just because. Yeah, in a string of 28 nights in a row, we did a 55-ton load one night just to see if we could do it.
Lord almighty.
Yeah. Oh hell
How
yeah.
many
It was
pounds is that?
That's 110,000 pounds.
110,000.
Yeah, we filled 2 houses or so.
220,000 of these bags in front of you.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
half a pound essentially. Maybe.
Yeah,
I won't say on the air what this is.
Yeah, when we were talking today, you were saying $10 a pound.
In theory,
Yeah.
it's not actually
Yeah,
weed,
$10
it's
a
fake
pound.
buds, but yeah.
It's not weed.
Prices have changed.
You know, and it was quite literally when they
into
called
this, yeah.
when the government decided to call it a war. You know, they weren't too far off, but it wasn't the kind of war that I had in mind. You know, that everybody else had in mind. It was more of a war of attrition, from our point of view, and we were just carpet bombing in North America with the shit. You know, because quite literally in those 28 nights that I talk about in the book, and some of my crew would say it was more, but I left it at 28. I did just a quick, rough estimate at about 1.6 million pounds in 28 nights. You know, because there were, like I said, there were other boats out there waiting to be unloaded the same time we're working. You know, we actually had one of the bosses of the second generation came out one afternoon, and when I say he came out, we're offshore waiting, 3 boats. We're going to get 60,000 pounds, like he's talking about right there earlier. We had 3 boats scheduled to do this because the more you can get on each boat, the faster you can get in. The night's over and shit like that.
course,
So all of a
less
sudden,
risk.
out of nowhere, here comes this fucking airplane, and a plastic milk carton comes flying out of it, and we go over there and get it. There's a note in it saying, one of you guys has got to go over here because this boat needs to get unloaded too.
Wow.
So they shortened our crew to get 60,000, and
like, send
one
the
boat
plane.
takes off to get this load over here, and we take off to get the 60,000 over here, and it was just the way it was, man. That's how I grew up. This is all we knew as kids.
Wow. And so, and you
it's
guys
all
weren't
in
the
the book.
only ones out there doing that either. I take it. I mean, I'm
Well,
sure-
no. You know, I tip my hat to the guys in the book too. You know, I don't take anything away from anybody that ever hauled a bale of pot.
Right.
You know, whether they made it or didn't make it. You know, with the story that I'm telling is a group of people that for over 40 years and 3 generations were able to do this and integrate it into a way of life and not get caught doing it. And that's very difficult to do when you're talking about, you know, a town of just under 500 people and then half the town's involved in this shit.
Yeah.
And we were taught as kids to not be extravagant and stupid and you know, and go off buying stuff like, you know, that was ignorant, you know, like that. But where the difference was made is, and I could keep a Corvette because being a commercial fisherman and in that industry was pretty lucrative, as you know. But you worked your ass off, man. I mean, it'll make a big boy out of you if you stick around long enough.
Yeah, you're still a big boy.
But the difference was made is, you know, when you pass by my trailer, which is like everyone else on the island, but when you open the door and walk inside, where's where the difference was made, with the leather furniture and all the newest appliances and all the shit like that. You know, we could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you got very good at being taught how to spend money, because I'm 22 years old and I'm averaging over $100,000 a week on sometimes.
In 1980.
Yeah, that's worth a lot back in the 80s too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, when
I
you're
had a lot
making
more.
$12,000 a year, and you know you're doing well.
Jesus Christ.
You know, but and we were
Well,
taught.
yeah, you got to hide that somewhere. You got to figure out how to.
And we were
really
very
spend
good.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it right there. We were
Yeah.
very good at being taught and learning how to piss away money.
Yeah.
You know, and Jimmy Buffett says this, and I quote him in the book. You know, buy enough money, piss away enough money to buy Miami. There's truth in that. And truth is absolutely stranger than fiction, because this shit is absolutely real.
Yeah.
As unreal as it may seem, I had to get the validation of law enforcement, which is something I got to spin off on real quick. Is that some of my dear friends now are the law enforcement agents that chased me and tried to put me away for life. You know, the supervisor for United States Customs, as a matter of fact, who appears on the front page of the Naples Daily News, which is a picture in the book.
Yeah.
I work out with him every morning. You know,
hilarious, of course.
We're just best buds. So he introduced me to 2 of his guys that worked for him. He showed up on the scene as supervisor in 1986.
Yeah.
He chased me for a couple of years until the operation came down. From 1980, prior to him showing up, he introduced me several months ago to 2 agents that were there before him. One came from Secret Service, wanted to come to run boats for the customs agency, and the other one came from CIA, and he wanted to run boats too. So I'm sitting at the table and I'm talking with these guys, and this is backdoor shit. Nobody's heard this stuff before. And we're having this conversation. I'm introduced. These guys were very interested in meeting me. I'm backing up here, man.
Yeah, well, that one's done.
Yeah, that was kind of smoked.
Yeah.
So we're having a conversation one day, and we're being introduced to one another. We got to meet you. And I said, we got questions. And I said, dude, I got questions for you too. Like,
I bet.
So these guys were actually chasing me, quite literally chasing us for 6 years before my friend John shows up. So I'm having this conversation with me, and I'll try to be as quick as I can because this is just no end to this shit, man. But this is not in the book or anything like this. But I'm talking to this guy, and he says, "You," was one of these agents. He says, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "Well, now should I?" And he said, "Yeah, I boarded your boat one night." And I'm thinking, "Well, I've only ever been boarded 3 times." And I said, "No, you got to give me more, brother." I said, So he starts telling me the story. He said, "When I boarded your boat," he said, "I asked you a question. The first answer you gave me," he said, "almost made me laugh out loud." He said, "I had to turn and go do one of them in my sleeve, right?" He says, "I boarded your boat and you had a tarp on the front of it, and the picture of the boat he boarded is in the book right there. It's a 31.3 Chris Craft, 31-foot Chris Craft, and it was called. They called him Go Fast. That was my chase boat." Yeah, so he threw his tarp back, and I had like 25, 30-gallon containers that had diesel fuel in them. And he asked me point blank, what's with all the fuel, son? And I just went, I use a lot of fuel. And he went like this because he said, I knew better. And I said, dude, I knew you knew better. That's why I let you stop me. And he said, oh, you let me stop you? And I said, yeah. I said, a boat that I was in had 30 miles an hour on you, man. I could have left you sitting. But I couldn't do that because I could not run your radio, for one thing. My buddy on the boat's telling me, go, 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 because he stopped me just about 2 hours after dark, blue lighted me. And he said, oh, you let me stop you? I said, yeah. I said, I needed to because I didn't need boats chasing me around because I unloaded 47,000 pounds on Pine Island, which was like 2 miles away, 2 hours after you stopped me. He goes, no, you didn't. And I looked over at John, the guy that introduced me to him, and John goes, yeah, he did. Like this. So I'm giving them the story about the containers on the boat. And I said, it's not untypical for us to go out as the load boat, to get the load, the big boat that I show you in the boat.
Right.
To get 30,000 pound shit. To take food and water and ice and medical supplies and stuff for the crew, and refuel them because the chances are they've been on the water for quite some time. If they run into any weather coming from Colombia, there's the boat on top right there. That's the big boat. That's the load boat. That boat's hauled millions of pounds. But a lot of times these guys will run into bad weather, and in this case, these guys were without food and water for like 3 fucking days. So they couldn't wait for the load boat to go out and pass this material and food off to them. So I went out earlier in the day, and I told this guy, I said, he said, well, because I backtracked, you came out of the Southwest, dude, and I backtracked you after you left almost 60 miles offshore. There was nothing out there. And I said, well, that's because the boat you were looking for was 80 miles north of you. And I said, this is what I did. I stopped at a place called Sanibel Island, Captiva. And I fueled up and I got all that shit there. And I went almost 60 miles north off of Sarasota, almost to Tampa. And then I went 50 miles offshore. And then I came south to where the boat was. Passed off all this shit. Got them fed. And, because we needed their help working, getting the load off. They couldn't wait. I mean, they were in bad shape.
Right.
So I had almost 60 miles south. And then I come out of the Southwest. And I said, that's why when you went out of the Southwest, you didn't find any shit, because they were way the fuck up here.
That's right. You just did the big loop-de-loop.
Yeah, so that was what surprised me as well. I don't remember this guy. He remembers me. That was quite. That was all right. So now we're just buds.
That's
all of us
so
guys.
funny, man. Wow.
And I'm gonna cut you off because you can hear a million more stories about it in the book, and every 2 weeks in the show when Jared,
Don't get me
That's
started,
why you got to
man.
get the
Exactly.
book.
We're here for 4 hours. Exactly that. And speaking of 4-hour shows, that's what Freddie's all about anyway. Freddie Pritchard, man. What's going on, brother?
Good to see y'all.
Good
Thanks.
to see you here, brother, man.
Good to see you, Jeremiah, Carly. Thanks for having me on the show. I guess we crashed you a little bit.
Yep.
Crashed
You're
your
always
show.
welcome to crash.
I never
Pardon
crashed
the
the show yet.
intrusion.
Yeah.
Anytime, boys. You guys can come anytime you want. Freddie, how's the show going?
Good. Just it's all true, Jeremiah. Right back to.
Yeah.
I remember.
I know.
I remember when you guys were, pro-liberal and stuff, and no
Way
one's throwing
back
any
when.
sticks and stones on it or anything like that. But geez, I was like, no, he's going to make stricter, harsher rules. I remember when you were trying to read it to Mark on a live show, and you were reading what I had posted, and that was the official party platform of the Liberal Party
It was,
of Canada.
yeah. It
Yeah,
said
and
increased
Mark
enforcement.
said, no, they're not going to do that. And well, we're 2 years, I guess, a year and a half later, and
And Mark's facing life in
everybody
prison.
that's everybody that's
No,
Everybody
Freddie,
that's
you
an
kinda nailed it.
activist,
Freddie was right. Freddie's
a cannabis consumer
we were
knows.
calling you a purist, and you know what? The thing was, I always thought, in my head that we need you saying those things. Like the David Malmo-Levines, the Freddie Pritchards are extremely important to this movement because you guys really keep everybody on their toes. And I still think that, because Trudeau and these guys came out as politicians and said, we're going to legalize pot, we had to sort of support them on that level, or if we, the Conservatives won again, nobody would have ever said they would even support marijuana.
Yeah,
again.
it's true.
So we have
It
to.
sucks that
Yeah, we know.
democracy works the
There's
way
a
it
foot
does,
in the
but-
door. There's no mistaking that.
Don't ever delude
But-
yourself that your voice doesn't matter, because it absolutely does. When you can wind up and pull off something like my guys and I did in Contrast, one person can make a difference, and it's that person that steps up and opens his mouth. Because if I hadn't stepped up and opened my mouth and said, yeah, hell yeah, I can do this shit, when the guy came knocking on my door when everybody went to prison, same thing you're facing, dude, and I respect that, man. And I've seen you
Well, we
from
all
show
are
to
as
show, and I
Canadians,
just met you
and-
this afternoon for the first time, and I'm impressed, really.
Yeah. Well, we all are as Canadians. I stand where I stood. Like, I remember going, I think I started my theweedking.com website, but it's not around anymore. But I started that back in 96 or 97.
Yep.
So I've been going around it this a long time, involved with the medical patients. And truth is, this isn't our legalization. And I started this movement. And really, I stand for the same thing as I always stood for. And that was stop clogging the court, stop wasting taxpayers' dollars, stop putting people in prison for pot, stop the fucking reefer madness, and stop ruining lives.
Right.
And what's coming isn't stop none of that. So we're not included as a cannabis community. That's a big one.
Yeah.
All the dab makers, the concentrate makers, everybody that's not going to be selling their products legally. And we're a movement. We're not going away. We've been generations making this. There's tens of thousands of us involved. We're pumping a $7 billion a year industry. We're a mammoth green machine over here. We're not going away. No one's quitting. I just went to a big dab fest or a dab event over on the island at. Oh no, God, yeah. We just left we just left a major session.
No, it's going to be happening everywhere for a long time.
area.
And Freddie, this is the thing that I like about what you have been saying the whole time, is you really were the one who called out by having this, you've been saying this for a while, that separating things into two tiers where you allow the sort of legal, these LPs to do their thing, and then you plot them against everybody else, that causes the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
Is when you let part of the team or part of the society do something, then they have an interest in making sure that nobody else gets to do it ever again.
Which is the most ridiculous thing, Jeremiah, you said, and I've been saying, is they're going to make two weeds.
Yeah.
They're going to make two fucking weeds.
You
There's
invite
illicit
contradiction
and illicit
almost immediately.
So, and then the stigma, the prison for pot, the wasted dollars. Just now, Colorado passed a bill to spend $6 million to put people in prison for pot and fight the black market. Yeah. And that's the legal marijuana tax dollars that I've been saying for 2 years that's going to fund our prohibition. The legal tax dollars are going to come over here. And so in my eyes, as a Canadian cannabis activist and being around as long as I fucking been around, bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, people are still going to go to prison
it's not
for
real
pot.
legalization.
People are still getting... Look, everything still goes the stigma. You're still a stupid stoner.
I've been calling it fake legalization because it is.
It is when it comes down to that.
It's fake legalization.
It's not
if
about
anybody goes to
business,
jail,
it's-
it's not legalization.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is it's
And how
inside
about
of
our-
legalization is decriminalization. Right.
Well,
if you
yeah.
don't have decrim, you don't have legalization. Simple
Our
as fucking
equality
that.
rights. Our equality rights. Well, these guys have been growing for generations, and they can't be included. But here comes these new guys in suits pushing THC capped, irradiated cannabis on us, and it's okay for them. Like our
Hydrogen
equality
cyanide
rights,
weed.
Charter of Freedom, Section 5.
Don't forget the formaldehyde too.
To be treated equal benefit under the law. So why are they so over here? I don't understand this. This is where I'm like drawing the line, and I flip out on my show about all the time. Is I don't understand how these people can be selling weed and it's called legal weed, and they're getting rich and riding boats, but these people over here are still going to prison for pot. Actually, their tax dollars are funding it. This is one big fucking clusterfuck.
And their weed is worse.
Trench, it sucks.
And their weed is worse too.
Well, and this is something that Freddie's
Yeah, their
been saying.
weed sucks. We can go off on that
This
for
is something
10
that Freddie
shows. knows
Freddie's
about
been
that.
saying for a long time is that he, you know, Freddie, you always said, I don't want to have happen to marijuana what happened to tobacco. And essentially, the only marijuana never hurt anybody until these corporations got their hands on it. And now there's people getting some sort of, it's off-gassing hydrogen cyanide. People are getting weird sicknesses
We
from
actually
it.
smoked that cannabis.
So did
I'd
I,
like
yeah.
to thank
So did
Carly
I.
for having me on her show.
Freddie, tell
the
us about some of
lifestyles
the-
where I was talking about them pesticides.
You've done testing on these things. You guys have done independent
Yeah,
testing
we did
on
with
LP
CL.
strains.
Yeah, actually, Craig said he might want to do some more. Just throwing that back out there, but
We should do that.
We did, and the
Goddamn
actual
right.
test, the actual weed, the Metrum, and the Organigram that we smoked right there on camera. It doesn't lie, and. The three of us standing there's 80 years of cannabis experience standing there, a patient, a dispensary owner, and me, an advocate. And it burnt black ash on camera. It sparked all up, and all three of us said it tasted of a horrendous chemical. We couldn't smoke anymore. That
Yikes.
exact weed. That exact
It was
fucking
that
weed
stuff.
was recalled. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we smoked hydrogen cyanide, Jeremiah.
And the thing is, it's
And
not
a
that these
patient
guys,
knew
that didn't happen
going-
by mistake. These guys put that shit in there on purpose because
and
it's a
lied about it.
pesticide.
What do
and
you
then
tell
they hid
the-
it, and they even like hid it in the ceiling, and all they did, there's all this nefarious shit.
What
they
do you
did.
tell the fucking patient, Jeremiah,
Unbelievable.
who's new to cannabis, that smoked that shit and wouldn't know the difference?
You tell them if it doesn't burn white,
who's sick already,
They
a
got
medical
sick.
person.
They got sick. I've read 7 stories now on my show, reading the people who got sick, lost weight, had nausea,
Yeah.
all who are involved in
There's
now
a lawsuit.
2 class action
Yeah,
lawsuits.
lawsuits,
The
yeah.
veterans
Yeah.
of this country
Yeah.
want to assemble to get a lawsuit going against Organigram. And something
Coming
about
forward and justifying their own nonsense by
Because
pulling
it's-
off this bullshit.
Yeah, it really is like that. They're
They're
showing
not-
us why we can't trust them.
well, they're approved to have those 17 sprays.
And was
So-
that,
What do you
isn't
need
that the
17
Trailer
sprays
Park
for?
Boys company? The one
Organigram, yeah, that's
Trailer
the
Park
tri-
Boys.
yeah.
Yeah, so don't smoke that Trailer Park Boys shit. Yeah.
Well, don't smoke the weed shit. And
Yeah,
remember, if
really.
it doesn't burn white, it wasn't flushed right. Okay, always keep that in
Well,
mind.
yeah,
That's one
no.
sound
we
piece
did
of
it.
advice.
That's
Because
right.
I've been to places that have tested their weed. I've been to California a few times in the last year, probably 3 or 4 now, and I've come across some really good weed. I've also come across some weed that looks fantastic, that's been grown by some people in organic conditions that have been absolutely amongst the best there is, and wins all kinds of awards. And it burns black. I got to light it a million times. It tastes like dirt.
It has
tastes
too
gross.
much crap left in it.
Well, they haven't stopped the organic growing cycle. They haven't stopped those microbials from or the microorganisms from living in the soil, so they can't flush it out completely. So it still stays black.
Right.
It still they do put too much in it, but it tests free for pesticides. It tests free for this.
Right.
And high for THC.
And that's the problem. It's the type of testing that the government is enforcing on them is artificial in a way.
Yeah,
and it's
because
not
the-
actually showing you what's really wrong with the pot. They're forcing them to jump through all these hoops and have 0 microbe counts and all this kind of stuff, which is actually not very genuine to marijuana anyways.
No,
Like,
and
you
the
were to
big one
grow-
though is
if you-
17 approved sprays, and acceptable levels of those approved sprays are allowed to pass through testing, Jeremiah.
Yeah,
you don't
I
need
know,
you
and
don't
that's
need
what-
those
and
sprays.
some of that's that
Including
Monsanto
Massive
shit.
percentage
sprays,
of
that's
inert
what I
and
was
other
gonna say.
ingredients. Nobody knows what's in it. They're approved for ornamental and flower.
No thanks. I'll
plants.
stick to my mom and pop growers.
Yeah,
I've asked.
We'll
and I-
stick to
And
our homegrown.
I can't help but wonder, you know, there keeps being the LPs coming out, and some of the sprays that they're using are additives, and they're like, well, we found out about this. You Google, you find out it's an additive. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, why do you need it?
what did you add it to though?
And
Because
that started
it's
from-
added to another chemical, and there's all this talk about the additive chemical, but it's like, okay, but there's actually clearly more if you actually Google this.
I've asked the last
substance.
6 growers on my show, 3 or 4 of which at least have all been multiple award winners, Remos, the Chad Jackets, the people who know what they're doing and shit like that.
Yeah,
And
you can
do-
ask them if
do-
they spray on
do-
their flowering or
yeah, do
dried
you use-
marijuana, and they'll say no.
No.
But
They don't use any of
Health
that shit.
Canada approves
That you- that
the
you
17 sprays to be sprayed on flowering and dried marijuana, which just changed, and I updated all that information on my show to my viewers. As all this stuff happens, I basically do it on my show.
Your show's on point, Freddie. Your show is king, Freddie.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I get all the info from, basically, is Freddie's show. And speaking of Freddie's show, Jeremiah,
Yes.
Freddie,
What?
I think we all got us in one room at one time. We'll never get the opportunity again. How do we get Freddie's show or another show or something? How do we get Freddie on Pot TV, Jer?
Well,
Jer?
this is something
Jer?
that we talk. been talking about a little bit.
We have in the background a little bit.
But we haven't. You're doing a little bit of an ambush on.
I know a little bit.
Because putting him on the spot. I'm 100% game. I would love to have Freddie's show on Pod TV. However we do it.
Tuesdays.
Yeah. What do you mean, like a 2-hour thing or something?
We should do something.
Kush Queen actually set up the time of her show with your show in mind. So we
absolutely.
Wouldn't even have to
Yeah,
switch
Kush
things.
Queen said she didn't want to, she put her show 2 hours before yours because a lot of people watch your show and she wanted to just platform into yours. I'm not saying you should cancel your Sunday show or anything.
No, I think you should do an additional show on Tuesdays from here. Is what
That's
I think
what
you
I'm
should
saying.
do. I think you should do a
Actually,
Tuesday show from here.
You mentioned this before, and and Craig's talked to me a bit about it.
Yeah,
but
we should put something together.
Think on camera before I said Tuesday.
We'll talk.
We're gonna get the dialogue going anyway.
I didn't know this character was gonna.
I had the pleasure of having
what
a
I do.
face-to-face meet with Kush Queen this afternoon, and I think she can hold her own, man.
Oh yeah, Kush Queen's amazing. No,
Yeah.
Kush Queen is so awesome.
She's awesome.
Yo, I want to keep my Sunday thing going. So,
Yeah, of course.
Probably take on, and actually I'm honored.
Yeah.
Very honored.
You've been watching it since it's been day one.
Since day one.
Yeah.
And to be able to bring my voice of freedom, liberty, justice, truth of a plant, then the reefer madness, to keep the awareness, the information going, and the research, and I do a lot, man, to make all that happen. And
I know you do.
To be able to bring that to this platform and to this
Yeah.
platform
Right.
and another platform with definitely a lot more viewers than I have, I'm honored.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That'd be
And I'd be
awesome.
willing to put the work in, and are you saying like Tuesdays?
Yeah, well, we'll talk. We'll figure that out. I think Tuesday seems like a good date to me, man.
Yeah.
That's the day we don't have anybody on the network right now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
also
what I-
Saturday.
Alyssa gave me the thumbs up on that already. She's down to do the show on Tuesdays. See.
Okay, good. That I had to.
Like I'd
Yeah,
have
we had
some
to
help.
figure that out too. That is fantastic. No, I think it'd be a lot of fun and and a lot of good info.
We'll get together about the details.
We will. We'll talk about it.
Sure.
Like after the show.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure there's
we'll
more
iron that out.
important
But there you
stuff
go.
we'd like to
There
talk
you
about.
have it, Pod
That-
TV
that's awesome.
viewers.
A theoretical.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
we
Man,
do
this guy
everything
can
on the air.
smoke and
Pod
dab,
TV.
man. That's the first thing I asked him. We just did a big session over at Craig X's place. We did a mini gauntlet of multiple flavors of dabs, and man, he was hitting like a champ. Come up from Florida.
I love this shit.
and
The
he's
mini
killing the
gauntlet.
shit. And he said he really likes our Vancouver bud. So
I love the
it's
lifestyle.
awesome to
man.
hear that.
It's awesome. It's nice.
Great
be
to
here.
meet him.
Yeah,
Thank
man,
you,
Tim, it's
Marlon.
great to have you here,
You're
man.
badass.
Seriously.
Great to have you.
Yeah,
It's
so we've
really
been
dope
showing
down
him
here.
around. We've been taking him to some of the sites. We were at VPMS today. He's going to do Cushy's show tomorrow at 2 o'clock from VPMS. And, of course, make sure you check out the One Man Smoke show at 4 o'clock on YouTube. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sunday. Sorry, my bad.
Sunday,
Sorry, my
2
bad.
p.m.
Sunday
You guys
2,
should,
4.
if you're touring great, places to see in the city of
We
Vancouver,
are.
cannabis locations, you should definitely make sure you check out 1674 Davie Street.
We're absolutely going to go to
That
Davie Street.
Beach feeling lounge,
the CC
right near
location
the
down there?
Stanley
That's right.
Park walk.
Yes,
That's
we're going to go down.
so
And
nice.
We'll be at Davie Street tomorrow. We'll be down there for that. We're going to take a tour.
That's cannabis culture.
Cannabis culture.
I'm going to take him to
That's a
Beatty.
good
I'll
drop,
probably
name
take
drop.
him out to.
You got to take him down to that.
Good plug.
I'll probably
that
take him
dab
out to
lounge.
the
That looks nice
to the
too.
to the Boundary. Out there,
Nice.
Cassier. We'll do some maybe to Broadway. We'll do some shit. We're gonna take him out to see the sights. He's actually got to go see a producer meeting right now and stuff. But again, if you want to see him, you can see more with Cushy's show. We thank you for letting us hijack. I got the books
always,
available. Info at X.
I watch your YouTube stuff. I follow that.
Oh,
you
thank
go.
you. That's awesome. I'm so flattered.
The
Thank
lifestyle
you.
show.
Carly's got some damn good stuff going on. Her
Yeah.
latest
Monday.
show is fantastic.
Yeah, UMBC Bud Galler Murder, and it shouts to 420 Lifestyle every Monday at 4 o'clock.
Monday, 4 p.m.
The shows are just
PST.
getting better and better, man. As the
Damn
years
right.
progress that I've been here associated with it, man, it's been nice. So
Yeah.
see how it's
Just
coming
got the
along.
One Man Smoke show.
And yeah, the One Man Smoke Show. If
Wow,
that's
that
addition
just
to the
stepped it
addition,
up
That was a big
notch.
get.
if that did it, man, that's
Acquisition
crazy.
on that one. And
Yeah, so-
here's the book again. Saltwater Cowboy.
The Rise and Fall of a Marijuana Empire. You can get that, of course,
Tim
on
McBride.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Chapters, Indigo, and Auto
And out of the back of Craig's van.
and on the back of Craig's van. But you
Yeah.
can get them autographed. That's the thing. You can't get them autographed anywhere else. I have these books. I'm gonna have a limited number of autographed copies. But if you want a personalized autographed copy, you can get a hold of me this weekend, and we can make that happen special for you today or tomorrow. But info@expertjoints.com or DM me on Instagram. We'll get at you. We'll hook you up because I know a lot of people watch. I know people want to hear the rest of the story. It's an incredible read. It's a lot of fun. When you know the man and you hear the story, it just goes together. When you put together with the Tim's Tales that we do every week on Expert Joints Live every Thursday at 4:20, it all comes together. It's beautiful.
He managed to get that plug in there too.
Of course, you know me, man. I'm not gonna. Don't forget Jay from the Lake, Carly Marley 420, Potholler Tim, and the Weed King guy in Vancouver. Right? Trust me, I got them all. Magnus and Neil, and even JMac 420. I know everybody's, and I got that. But no, we want to get it in. We want to spread the word. Thank you so much for coming all the way up from Florida. I'm gonna try and get him for coming up more and more times. I want to get him up here a lot. There's such an incredible story to tell. There is a TV show. There is a movie. There's all those things in the work that you want to know the questions of. But start with reading the book, and then tune into my show. And we got to actually get him off to a meeting with the production team. I'm not being a dick about it, but he does. He got a producer meeting in an hour. So we're gonna leave. And Freddie,
I want to.
If it works out that you and Jer and everybody's cool with making it happen on a Tuesday show, I'll be the first one to fucking. Can I be on your show?
Absolutely. I'm gonna call it something different. Because
J-Mac doesn't have a microphone.
Yeah, so just
But
wait.
he's always talking.
Yeah,
always, which is a little tough to take J-Mac. That's why
we'll have J-Mac on after the show.
We'll have to work out the details, man.
Yeah,
if you guys
we'll be talking about
I
that.
do want to
We'll be talking
say
about
Cannabis Life Network or Cannabis Life Conference is going on July 7th and 8th, and you guys know I protested Lyft with 26 patients.
Yeah.
But that was a while ago, and it was really saturated with large producers. Now the Cannabis Life Conference has two sides. Of course, there's the big business people there, and everybody who wants to make the money that are going to work inside of that legalized framework.
Yeah.
And then there's us, and there's a few voices in there. Dana, Robert E. Laurie's going to be there. Jody.
Yeah.
And I'm confirmed now as a speaker.
That's
3:20 on Friday.
They gave him a
And
keynote,
as well,
and he's going to be on a panel.
I'll be on the
Beautiful.
legalization
That's
panel as
fantastic,
well at
Freddie.
4 or 4:30.
Yeah.
With Jody and Dana Larson.
Yeah, I heard that
and
you're on that
Robert.
panel with Jody. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So just
That's great.
I'm happy to be able to the curator of that event for him to be able to
should
let
be
us
fun.
saturate our voice of freedom.
Aren't you? You're doing some hosting stuff.
I'm
there,
actually
aren't you?
emceeing and hosting the whole event.
There
Yeah,
you
so I'll be
go.
introducing him. I'm actually moderating that panel as well too.
I think I'm on a panel too.
I think you probably are.
I can't remember. I don't know which one.
And
but
what it is, yeah, okay, I'll admit there's some of the business, and there's a little bit. There's maybe an LP or two, and then there's some craft guys, and then there's some glass guys.
The
and there's
only-
producer guys.
yeah,
There's a
I
little bit
seen-
of everything. It's kind of like I look at it as like almost like an entry level conference. Like you can come in if you don't know a whole lot about it, get a basic understanding. You see a lot of different speakers. You see a lot of panelists. You get a lot of good information and a lot of opportunity to just grow and learn about it, and understand a little bit of the life. And what I think about it is really cool is some of these conferences just end up being nothing but the big corporations and the same science folks and just beating the same message down to give somebody like Freddie a open mic for 20
That's the
minutes
way to
and
do
go
it.
on and do it.
Yeah.
That's what
fucking
a lot of
badass.
people need to understand now. There's that line. There's the people inside of that legal regime at any cost. They're going to be business people and making all kinds of money.
Because at
but
Lyft
there's
we were
still us, right? That aren't
Yeah.
included. No,
And they're fine as long as
Freddie-
they can be represented too.
Freddie was protesting Lyft here in Vancouver when they were there.
Yeah.
And we were inside doing it. We had our
Yeah.
cart beast
You
inside.
did, too.
And actually we had to. We were forced to heckle not heckle, but ask nice, polite
we asked some tough questions
to the people who were on stage because they wouldn't allow the people like Freddie to go up there. So, but we
And they were going
Well,
up and
that's-
just saying
what's different.
lies.
They
the
were
speakers
saying
were
bullshit.
completely dishonest. Their doctors were saying things that just weren't factual. They were going against all the studies that many of us in the room have looked at ourselves
That's
and,
right.
and
Yeah.
figured out what the actual
Yes.
results are and not just what whoever's
That's
talking
right.
about interprets them to be.
It was pretty bad.
What's really cool is the Cannabis Life Conference in Toronto. They had a number of panels, they had a number of speakers, and Cannabis Life Network recorded them all, has chopped pretty much all of them up now into a series of videos. There might be one or two more coming. I got to check the list, but they're either all out or just about all out. With all the different speakers, all the panelists, and they had some really smart folks on there. Jody was on there, of course, as well too. But you can check all those videos out, and the same thing here, what it looks like, without to give the whole thing away, but we might be able to do a little more than a regular just corner cam in the corner broadcast. We might have one of those too, but we might have a little more engaged from the floor, a la the 420 behind the scenes live kind of stream could happen to some degree.
Patching.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Yeah,
hoping.
yeah, maybe some shit like that. So
I'm hoping my kind of talk and from our side of it and our for all of us. I'm trying to get my voice to penetrate them, to let them hear us, that we're not going away, that your money's going to put us in prison for pot. That makes them our enemies, right?
We'll be fighting until that stops.
I
man,
want to
no
try to
matter
touch
what.
their hearts and their souls, Jeremiah.
to
Get them to understand that, end this insanity, like legalization for all, and allow these professions to exist. Edible makers, concentrate makers, put in a standardized testing and let them pay their income tax.
Right.
We already generate multi-millions.
The government wants to be everybody's nanny, and they want to. But really, what it is they're pretending to be our nannies when really they're just giving contracts to their buddies.
Pretty much.
And that's what this whole entire thing is. Don't get this twisted in any way. This isn't about protecting kids. This isn't about stopping organized crime.
No.
This is about, for one thing, punishing people who have been breaking the law for a long time. And Trudeau even says it himself when they asked him on Vice TV about whether he would expunge people's records and to let people out of jail who were arrested previously for cannabis. He said no.
Yeah, I know.
And he says, and basically what he's saying by saying that is that he said no because they broke the law.
Yeah,
so
I know.
This isn't about rehabilitating somebody who did some crime.
No.
This is about punishing people.
There's no victim, no crime. And I can tell you what's real bad, Jeremiah, and I know all pot prisoners have felt it. When they've sat and they've looked at the cracks and counted the cracks on the wall, I've counted them. And they've thought to myself, who did I hurt? Yeah. Who did I, you're a bank robber, you
Cannabis
shoot somebody,
helps
you're drunk, you beat up your wife, you end up in prison, you feel remorse. It's called rehabilitation.
Yeah.
What are you being really rehabilitated for?
I know, it's
for
total
nothing.
bullshit.
You put smile on people's faces, and in a lot of people,
And Weasley
221 dispensary rates now, those people are helping patients.
Yeah. Well, Trudeau's smoking it himself. And
Yeah.
he's going to throw Mark and Jody in prison
Yeah,
for life
and wasn't
for
it great how on that show with Vice that he just said that when his brother got in trouble, he talked to Daddy. Daddy had the connection. Is that a throw in our face? I mean,
It's just
when Daddy was the prime minister of the country.
And one day it'll all be a book, just like Saltwater Cowboy. We got to get the fuck out of here. Love you
Yes,
guys.
we do. We
I
should have
appreciate it.
crashed
Love
your
you guys
show
big
like
time.
that.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
by,
for
Tim.
coming
Big time.
on, guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
See you on Thursday.
Hells
See ya.
yeah.
Yeah, for a bit. Well, no, I guess I'm gonna go too,
right.
right? I don't want to crash your show.
Freddie, you can stick around, brother. If you. We got Neil Magnuson in the house too. Peace, Holmes. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you coming by, man. Good to hang. Oh, please do. All the time, anytime. You got a
Hey,
lighter?
Neil.
So look who it is in his Cannabis Day gear.
I'm wearing a Cannabis Day shirt. Who
What do
would've
you
thought?
know
I
about
was gonna
that?
say that's unusual.
One of the 3 shirts he owns.
Well, I can rotate them.
Cannabis Day 420.
I also have a 420 shirt.
Yeah, you got a 420 shirt and what? Yeah.
Well, it's been, I don't know.
I don't know what the
couple
other shirt
decades
is,
of going to
actually.
these rallies. I think
Yeah.
I got one for every year. So.
Don't you have a pot? Do you have a pot TV shirt?
Pot TV shirt? Yeah, probably in my closet somewhere.
I want to see some vintage shirts.
That'll have to be one
I want
of,
to see some vintage cannabis culture and pot TV shirts. We should do a thing because we've had over the years we've had a whole bunch of vintage designs of shirts, like designs that people made with different kind of styles on.
Yeah,
it.
that'll have to be one of my perks, Jer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a pot TV shirt.
I see it.
to make
hell
this,
yeah.
to make this deal work.
Pot TV shirt for sure.
See you the other day.
Definitely. So, Mr. Neil Magnuson, you have come here to tell us a little bit about Cannabis Day.
Yeah, it's coming soon, eh?
Yes, and remind us that
One week from
only
tomorrow
1
in
week.
Thornton Park. Yeah.
Thornton.
Thornton? That's what I said, Thornton. You corrected me last time and I said it the right way then, too.
I always pronounce that N with a gusto.
More gusto in Thornton Park.
Yes.
Thornton Park. I don't know. Yeah, that's where we're going to be. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait, actually. It's a kind of a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
We did outgrow the art gallery with our rallies, for sure, and we got political issues at the art gallery with the city and other people. So this is a fresh start for us, and I think I like the park. It's big. It offers a lot of shade, so if it's a real hot day like it is today, it's going to be cool. There's lots of trees there and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to get back on board and get back to our program the way we were running it before the city intervened there in 2015,
right?
And reclaim that day. So and it's different this year in that there's no vendor fees, there's no vendor reservations. Just come early, pick a nice spot. We're probably going to have our stage towards the SkyTrain right at Main and Terminal corner. We haven't quite decided that yet. We're going to have another walk around the site on Tuesday and figure out exactly where. But I would say it's going to be in that direction, just for those who want to think about where you're setting up. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of good speakers. I'm sure Freddie's going to be there, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be down there. I'm going to go to Thornton Park. I did see
Right on.
I did see Dana tweeting though that they put in a permit like 11 months ago, and they waited till June to tell you guys that there was going to be a youth event there.
At the art gallery.
Yeah, the art gallery.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that funny that they? So
yeah,
the city has,
I'm wondering.
Have they put this construction going on?
Yeah.
That's been annoying for so long, but now. Yeah, apparently it's done, but they're going to have youth sports day.
A youth sports
At the
event
art
of some
gallery
sort.
there?
At the art gallery.
Which is
So
crazy
that's why
when you
they're
think
not
about
going
it. They have such concern about youth and cannabis, and they're going to have a youth sports event at the place where cannabis users have been congregating for well over 20 years.
Yeah, I mean,
on
there's
that
only
day.
so much that we can do if somebody doesn't bother looking up the information because they go, well, every year it's here. I never
there'll
went
be
on
people that
Google
go there
Forms.
thinking it's there and we're
For
going to be there.
sure,
Oh, for sure there will.
It
And
has
then
grown
it's not going to
substantially,
be our
though.
fault that people smoke joints there.
There's probably people coming from out of town that are going to go there
Well,
thinking
you know
it's
what?
there.
If you ask me, I think it's a good thing that the kids are introduced to cannabis as opposed to the alcohol that's all over the
man.
place on that
I
day.
agree,
So,
but I don't
sure.
want to be the one to introduce them right at this in our public event, and I don't think that.
no,
we
I don't
should-
want to be the one to introduce them. But I think that we should, you know.
Well, we have that responsibility because they
We do.
come, right? There are youth always at these events,
Well,
and
I'm
so
not saying the ones
we
at
do
our
have
event.
some responsibility to educate them properly.
I'm
Well,
saying
the
I
last
don't want to
couple
show
years,
up for
though,
Youth
I
Sports
noticed
Day
people
blazing.
putting signs right on their booths the last couple few years at events. No serving anybody under 19, and they were
It's
asking
politically
for
correct.
IDs. I've seen the cannabis community be very responsible.
Yeah.
I think they have been extremely.
At the
But they
same
think
time-
cannabis is extremely dangerous.
More than we
at the
should.
same time, I think that we should also keep in mind while we're doing that. So I feel like a lot of us are doing it. Well, we don't that issue. It's hard to combat the kids issue, but
not
in
really.
reality, the government keeps going. You know. Think of the kids, think of the kids. So I think it's a really important time to go, well, actually, if kids are exposed more to cannabis than alcohol, that's better for them, you know. It can be used for all of these different things. Kids can't even get high before they're 12. If you introduce them in this way, they're not going to be as enticed, you know. And if you actually educate people, then the government, it's losing its last leg that it has to stand on in these regulations.
That's it. That's all they got, and they don't got that.
And I
yeah,
bet if you
so-
ask anybody that, you know, just stepping a little bit away from that, but if you ask anybody, I mean, there's exceptions, but ask anybody, they smoked a cigarette and they drank a drink long before they ever
Yeah.
smoked a joint.
Yep.
Well, and any parent out there also realizes that they'd much rather
And
have
it's
their
how
kids
it's
smoking
how highly
weed
restricted.
than using alcohol.
It's all highly
And
restricted. You
Trudeau
know?
agreed with me to my face that alcohol and tobacco are more harmful than cannabis.
Yeah.
He agreed with
Absolutely.
me.
Well, we all know that for sure. Cannabis is
Yeah.
a supplement to.
Cannabis Act
You can't-
He smokes it
C-45
himself.
is
They had new things.
harsher, stricter punishment.
New things
Well, he
came.
was
more
on the
severely.
pop block and he picked up art supplies. He literally just like got dropped off, went and bought like 2 paintbrushes, and then got picked up like a few minutes later after
Who's
I
buying
reamed him out.
paintbrushes for his wife?
Apparently, that's
As a
what.
photo op.
But I don't know. There was some pretty funny.
He was checking out the pop
assumptions.
block.
He was checking out the pop
We
block.
should've-
I was honestly
we
like
should've gone and
really
gave him a
like
dab.
wait. Well, we had a staff member that demonstrated a dab very well in front of him. Yes.
You'll green him, right?
Yeah, one of our lounge staff members was like,
Yo,
"Our
green
prime
him
minister
up."
is there," and he just heats up his banger and he just
But it
runs
wasn't-
down and he just.
Nobody got video of that event.
They
though.
did, but it was on a live thing and then he accidentally didn't
Periscope.
save it.
Damn it.
So it was
That
unfortunate.
would have been epic.
but
See, that
it
shit
would've
will
been
go
epic.
viral. There was like some viral thing of him like popping in, photobombing somebody's wedding or something in Vancouver. But
He should have been in the media
He
that
ran on the
weekend.
seawall.
We have an article coming
He went
soon.
through a wedding at the seawall.
Yeah,
that's true.
Or by the totems there.
Oh yeah, well.
So
Popping in and popping out, eh?
And new recommendations released today talking about cannabis, saying the best thing to do is abstain, you know, especially if you're pregnant or have mental
yes.
issues, and that there's health and safety concerns. You know, there might be health and safety concerns to do with cannabis, but they are less than for any other substance on the planet, including vegetables and fruits and pieces of wood.
Well,
That's
and
right.
the positive,
No,
the
he's right.
positive
He's right.
impact
Wood.
of
Potatoes, if you eat too many, can be
the
too much
cannabinoids being
more
activated
toxic.
gets rid of any of the harms
Potatoes.
from smoking. So
So speaking of these new rules and all of this stuff that the Liberals are putting forward, there's what is this? What do you call
specialty.
this? There's a video clip of Jody on CTV from today, actually, talking about the new, you know, they've been talking about all this stuff in the media a lot lately, and they go to Jody for comment, and I haven't actually had the chance to watch this clip all the way through, but Jody on CTV talking about the new regulations. We should pop it on here. I swear I clicked the thing. Here it is. Okay. Say what, Neil? tell it to the mic?
Well, we just want to make sure that we thank some people for Cannabis Day.
Oh, we're not done yet.
No, I know.
This was just a perfect
I'm just
segue
saying.
because you brought up the rules. So
just
we'll be back. Don't worry, Neil.
It
We'll
doesn't
get
happen
you-
without some good people helping us, for sure.
Yes. No. We'll get more on the Cannabis Day tip in a sec. But let's here we go.
First, as Ottawa prepares to legalize marijuana by July 1st of next year, a panel of medical and health experts is releasing
Jody did get it
recommendations
right.
not to make cannabis safe, they say, but safer. They include avoiding marijuana in teenage years as the brain is still developing, not driving while high, and minimizing deep inhalation.
To inform them about the risks and especially the risk factors that they can modify themselves by their own choices and behaviors to reduce the risks related to cannabis use. You can't eliminate those risks entirely. The only way to do that is by not using. But as we know, we have several millions of Canadians who are making the choice at any given day to use cannabis, and we want to help and educate them to lower the risks associated with that choice.
And the guidelines have been endorsed by several major medical groups, including the Canadian Medical Association. All pretty common sense stuff. And joining me right now for her reaction is cannabis activist and co-owner of Cannabis Culture, Jody Emery. Jody, great to see you. What do you think of this education campaign and of the recommendations that were put forth today?
Well, it's always great to endorse sensible, responsible, smart use of cannabis and all substances. But I'm afraid that this messaging seems to support the idea that cannabis is inherently harmful. We know that cannabis is far safer than alcohol, tobacco, sugar, and especially the opioid pills that doctors have been handing out, creating a crisis across this country. I think that the harm reduction messaging should be promoting cannabis as a safer choice for people who use alcohol for recreation and as a safer choice for pain relief for the many people who are currently addicted to opioids and other pills.
Okay, hang on. So, but do you think that it's really the government's job or their responsibility to promote marijuana use?
Well, the government is trying to restrict and limit marijuana access. That's what the Liberals have said since the get-go. They're treating cannabis legalization as a health crisis issue when we know that legalization should be happening because it's a criminal justice issue. It's a crisis of human rights and civil liberties where Canadians have been criminalized and demonized because of cannabis. Right now, we have a crisis of opioids, addictions and overdoses and deaths across this country. We have people from children to seniors addicted to legal speed and heroin and meth in the form of pharmaceuticals. We have alcohol saturating society, contributing to a great number of crimes and horrible health effects and deaths. And yet, the government and these doctors are not calling out for a Just Say No to Alcohol campaign. They're scaring people away from cannabis with this new Just Say No messaging. We need to encourage safer choices for the many Canadians, young and old, who are currently using and abusing alcohol, pharmaceuticals, and other drugs.
But what do you say to those people who say, look, Jody, it sounds like what you're asking the government to do is create a hierarchy of drugs. If people are going to choose to use drugs, you want the government to set it out for everybody what is better than another drug. And is that really the government's job in the end? Because they would say they're trying to strike a balance between legalizing marijuana and making sure that people use safely and responsibly.
Well, it's smart, like I said, to endorse safe use. That's why they're talking about vaporizing instead of smoking. And again, that's fantastic. It's harm reduction. We do it for people who smoke cigarettes, encouraging nicotine patches instead, and to reduce your alcohol intake. But we have to remember that the government and the doctors and all of these organizations who have been against legalization for a very long time are now scrambling to try and figure out how to continue the same sort of messaging and fear about cannabis while acknowledging that it should be legal. I personally believe that the government has no role in my health and they should get out of our bedrooms and our medicine cabinets. But when the government is talking about cannabis, we need to put it in context that we know that marijuana is far safer for everyone than the pills and the alcohol that are being pushed out there. And if we are talking about harm reduction, it only makes sense to promote a safer choice for those who are currently using more dangerous substances instead.
Jody, safer based on what science?
Well, if you go to twitter.com/Jody Emery, I spend my entire life as a magazine editor and cannabis expert researching marijuana. I can show you that the Journal of the American Medical Association says cannabis smoke does not harm your lungs. You've got the cancer.gov website saying that cannabinoids attack and kill cancer cells. You've got the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the U.S. government saying that marijuana does not increase impairment and fatalities on the road. You don't have to believe me, but I encourage you to go and look at all of the science and all of the research and to realize that the government, while trying to do the right thing, has been enforcing an unjust law and criminalizing Canadians and spreading fear about cannabis while they continue to push and promote and profit from much more harmful substances. We need to really promote cannabis as a safer choice and not be afraid of it and to not scare people away from what could save their life. The U.S. government admits that more marijuana access leads to fewer opioid deaths. So how dare this government try and restrict and limit access when we know that so many people are suffering and deserve a safer choice?
All right, got to leave it there. Jody Emery joining us this evening. Jody, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Thanks.
Oh, it's frozen. Dun, dun, dun. No, it's not. There we are. Hello.
It's a lovely face to be frozen.
I know, Jody. She's so pretty.
There'll be a statue one day.
And she's absolutely fantastic.
I hope so.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, I think we're
When
back.
the world melts down and 1,000 years from now
Carly
they try to
is,
rebuild what happened, the pot activists will be gods.
Yes. All right. So Freddie has parking issues.
Yeah.
So
'Cause he's
gotta
in
get rolling.
Vancouver.
Everybody's got parking issues in Vancouver.
Yeah.
This place is a fucking
And I
disaster.
also didn't. I didn't know Craig was serious. He was joking around about crashing your show, and next thing you know, we were in here crashing
Craig
your
doesn't
show.
joke about crashing on shows.
Okay, Craig
He jokes
there's
about
nothing-
a lot of stuff, but not that.
There's
stuff.
nothing he loves more than crashing shows to plug things.
Yeah, but it was really positive.
He will do that.
And we can love him for it as well. But yeah, so Freddie, I guess maybe you will be coming to Pod TV on Tuesdays, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be talking to you about it. We'll work out some details.
That would be fantastic.
To
It'd
bring
be
my
an
message
honor to have you here,
yeah.
my friend.
And
And,
that's just awesome. Like, come here to crash your show, and
Are you
I
coming
got
to
a new
Cannabis
show.
Yeah, there you go.
That's amazing. And that's great, because you know what's really funny is almost, all my viewers in the chat room are the same viewers in your chat rooms.
Mhm.
They're all the same people, and we're connected. Yeah. We're connected already too, so that's good too. I'll bring over a bunch of following people, and we'll be able to talk about truth and freedom. And I really thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, for sure, brother, man. Yeah, no, it's very true. We do share a lot of the same fans, I believe.
Yeah,
And
no, I think it's great. Yeah.
And we love them too.
Yeah.
A lot of viewers so far today on the show. We've had 22,000 live viewers on the show today.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, not bad. Not
So that's
bad.
what I mean. I'm proud to.
22,000.
Wow.
I'm proud
That's
to bring.
so far. It'll be more. That's
Thanks
just,
for
it only
tuning
gives
in,
you about
everybody.
halfway through. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it. We still
So-
have a little
support
bit.
Cannabis Day wherever you are.
Right, and Freddie, are you coming to Cannabis Day?
Oh, absolutely. July
Nice.
1st, I'll be going to Thornton Park, and
cool.
So hopefully there's no repeat. I was there when Neil got pounded by the cops. That's one of my
single-handedly took on
higher
all
viewed
15 of them is what
videos,
happened.
the Cannabis Day War of 2015.
I want to make one of those like a heritage moment, a part of Canada's history memes.
And let's make this Saturday part of cannabis history as well by reclaiming that day. And we could really rock it for sure. It's Cannabis Day. All the people that came to 420, most of those are local people. They could come down there, set up a booth, make it kind of. It won't be as big as 420 because that's a huge space, but it'll be a lot bigger than what we had at the art gallery, and it can still be a really epic day.
Yeah, you're a real great speaker, Neil. I've watched you for a long time. We've worked together and stuff like that, and I'd like my message is to try to get our activists in unity to be speaking out about C45, C46, S230, and how stricter, harsher rules to punish more severely and try to eliminate us isn't going to work.
We
And
sure
that's
got some
what
common
that's what
enemies.
I'd like to see more people speaking on that are. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to say, but I just think now is so
No,
important.
it's true,
right?
man. I'm
so
100%
I'll be
agree
glad
with
to
you.
bring my message down there.
Cool. And we got some sponsors that help us out every year. We got a bunch this year as well. It doesn't happen without the sponsors. So, really support these people. We got Weeds, Glass, and Gifts as every year as one of our main sponsors helping us out. New this year is Mount Pleasant Medicinals. They were sponsor at 420. They're sponsoring Cannabis Day as well. They're at 45 West Broadway. They got a really nice dispensary there as well. There's Health Lifestyle and Herbal Pharmacy Supplement. They're at 33rd and Victoria, also doing some wonderful work. They give away a joint, I think, to everybody that buys anything there. They pre-roll so many joints. You can get a job at their place rolling joints. They'll pay you $100 for a pound. So they're really putting a lot of cannabis, like Tim was saying about really flooding the marketplace with cannabis. That's kind of what's going on here too. Is there's a lot of good dispensaries that are making sure that everybody gets it, needs it, and wants it, has some. So that's awesome as well. The Vancouver Dispensary Society has helped us out. Sensible BC, MJ Creams. All of those people have really made Cannabis Day happen this year as well. So
there you go.
So go in there and support those people as best you can, and come down to Cannabis Day and let's bring it back.
And we do have new sponsors actually. We have Marijuana Man, who runs the cannabis culture on West Broadway.
Cool.
Is going to throw in $1,000 to the pot, and Cannabis Culture we're going to throw in $1,000 too.
Right. Always a sponsor.
Yeah.
Makes it happen. It all happens from here.
You're getting porta potties.
It's good to have everybody on the list, and we're gonna we have
getting porta potties.
But we're trying to get all the goodies. Yeah, we'll get a few porta potties at least. I don't think we're gonna need too many of them. But I told the city that
I think I counted at.
Yeah, we'll get a
100 and something. It was over 100.
We had
420, wasn't it?
We had 150 of those.
150 of those things. There was so many.
And some of them ran out of toilet paper. I heard that. So.
Yeah, that's still with the crowds we have at 420. It's still not even enough. But now, actually, that was enough. I seriously think that was maybe too many porta potties. But the city wanted extras, so.
Yeah, you notice that event though was extremely absent of any large producer of marijuana.
Yeah.
So my biggest point is, what the hell is this gonna work?
Isn't it funny though? Yeah,
it's
there's
impossible.
all these small mom and pops. Like when you look at, what bothers me is that they're trying to paint the marijuana community as some sort of groups of organized crime, like we're criminals or violent or something. When really we're all peaceful people, and we've just been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And when you look at, and it's obviously there's some organization to it because they're businesses and stuff, right? But these are harmless businesses. They're not hurting people. They're helping people. So it's harmful for the government to continue to try to paint us as organized criminals.
Well, yeah, because a study by Neil Boyd right here at SFU said that actually only 5% of the cannabis community is involved with organized crime, which leaves 95% of us.
Yeah, it's all mom and pops. It's all
good
good
honest,
people.
how many of us
there should be no regulation without
cannabis from gangsters.
I do not know gangsters who sell weed.
I'm curious about is that I wonder what that same percentage is in the restaurant industry. I wonder what percentage of bar owners
but let's be
are
honest,
involved
does
in
it matter
organized crime.
if somebody's involved in a cannabis community? Does it matter if it's a piker?
If they're not using violence, and if they're paying their taxes,
right?
That's what's so crazy about it is when you're talking about marijuana, it's not the same thing as some other violent gang thing or like using cocaine to fund the gang or something. It's it's
and
marijuana
the laws that
itself
are
isn't hurting anyone.
We heard it from
laws that are against it does
himself
cause
earlier today about how peaceful it's done.
Yeah, and really the police should be worried about going after violent people for their violent acts, not for acts they do that are harmless.
Victims.
Like the Toronto Police Department
no
spending
victim,
how
no
much
crime.
money?
Right.
You know, Jerry, you've been here a long time, man. I'm actually honored every time we can sit here and talk. And with you, Neil, we've been around a long freaking time, and we've always said no victim, no crime. It's one of our main chants in all our marches.
Totally.
You know, education, not incarceration.
And we said for a long time.
I like the one where it was no justice, no peace.
Yeah.
Well, and what we said for a long time was legalize.
I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel at this time.
I
need to kick
I'm
it
hoping
up
for drug peace. That's what I want.
Well, we really wanted legalize and regulate. That's what we asked for, and unfortunately, that's what we've we've fucking got. There should be no regulation without justification. That's for damn sure. And now the slogan needs to be apologize and subsidize. Damn
Exactly,
it.
they do.
You know?
Also, a lot of
Apologize and
apologies.
subsidize.
Apologize and
that-
subsidize. There's
what's-
enough of this.
I shed a lot of light to, they say Bill Blair recently said it's a $7 billion a year industry. Well, I beg to, it's probably a lot more than that.
Probably.
But regardless, do you know what? And if 95% of us are not involved with organized crimes, we're all like we're supposed to, it's all like it exactly is. We're mom, pa's, raising families, paying our bills, and then every time a dollar is spent out of $7 billion, it generates sales tax in every municipality and community in every part of this country. We help build
and employ so many
hundreds and
people.
hundreds of millions in sales tax a year.
Trudeau
From the
thinks-
cash that gets spent from all the people that grow cannabis.
No,
I know
absolutely.
I paid my bills with it, I'll be honest.
This
Trudeau
industry
thinks that
is
billions of dollars are made by criminal
illegal,
organizations.
but it exists
Oh,
because
Criminal
Canadians.
organizations make billions of dollars off cannabis.
Yeah, and that's exactly what large producers are going to try to do.
Well, that's what the large producers
Yeah.
are doing. Can't think of. I mean, when you think about some of the bigger names in pot out there in the country, we know a lot of them, and I can't think of anyone who's making billions of dollars. And I have a feeling if there's criminal organizations that are making billions of dollars, it's not cannabis they're making it off of. So I think that takes a lot of audacity for him to look me in the face and be like, criminal organizations are making billions. Did you know
It takes
that?
a lot to make even a dispensary like any of the ones we have make money. It's not easy. We're
No.
not making a heck of a lot of money from these dispensaries, especially in places like Vancouver, where like Toronto,
very
there's a
saturated.
pretty big market, but in Vancouver, it's completely oversaturated. It's extremely hard to make a dollar in this city.
Yeah,
On any level.
unfortunately they're pushing back pretty hard.
They are pushing.
Well,
back.
there's a lot of them here, and there's a lot of other
7 can
mainstream cannabis businesses, and they exist illegally because good people will break bad laws. Our governments are completely disconnected from what is reality here in our
Absolutely.
world, and these
Absolutely.
businesses exist because that. We've gone ahead, and these people have gone ahead and just done it because, damn it, you got to do it because nobody should tell you you can't do it, and telling you you can't do it is completely wrong. So that's what good Canadian people have done. We've done it, and that industry is completely entrenched. It is huge. It is vibrant and healthy. It's paying taxes. It's employing people.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
providing a self-regulated
shoes
industry
on
that
kids'
does
feet.
not require government oversight because nobody's being harmed. There's no victims anywhere. So the government should back right off, allow this industry to self-regulate as it has been, the way that it is, and stop wasting our tax dollars. Stop fucking criminalizing people. Stop giving monopolies to fucking rich people and pumping out fucking shitweed and making everybody else a criminal.
They're already
You're not a
talking
criminal
about
unless you
THC
intentionally
caps.
hurt somebody. That's that for that.
Almost like what the LPs are doing when they spray chemicals all over their
Well, certainly our government is intentionally harming
That's
people.
my
They know
biggest
better.
question is why are they approved to spray these 17? Why are the acceptable levels of them allowed to go through testing?
Yeah.
Why? And why?
Why is
and why
fentanyl
are
in the
they
whole- in
allowed
the
to do
drug
it on
supply?
The flowering and dried marijuana. Why? I want to know why. Because you ask Urban Remo, you ask any of the great growers that you guys have sitting in these chairs over the years, all the greats. You ask them if they spray on their flowers.
No need
anything.
to do that.
And you ask them if they spray because we know it tastes like
wouldn't do
black
that.
ash.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. We tested LP weed and we were smoking it there on camera with black ash.
Yeah, and it's gross. And that's what's so crazy is that
it's the patients who don't know.
You know,
Jer.
you can go and you can when you smoke pot, you can tell if it's been adulterated. in some
Right
way.
away.
Yeah, you know. And
Oh,
you can,
we- yeah,
only- you don't
because
have
we're
to-
cannabis consumers.
Yeah.
You would know instantly.
Instantly.
No, it's
Black
ridiculous.
ash tastes like shit.
Yeah,
What
numbs
is
your
that?
lips and everything
That's
else.
the beauty of
Lots of
smoking.
different things.
No,
the
that
beauty of
shit-
smoking is you get that personal, immediate relationship with whatever it is you just ingested.
This is hell, because I've been saying it for a while, and I know I'm a lot. People end up saying I'm right about a lot of stuff, and what I've been saying lately is as conspiracy theory as it may sound, they don't want us to have this cure of cannabis.
I'd rather believe
That's
it's
why their
conspiracy.
oils are fake and they're not full plant extracts like a
Right.
Rick Simpson Phoenix Steers oil sort of type deal. That's why they're because they don't, and the big pharma's losing large. Big alcohol's losing large because people will get off if they get on real quality cannabis. if they got on real quality cannabis, they'd get off fucking
And it's a door
pharmaceuticals.
opener, too.
A lot of them are getting off opiates. A lot of them are getting off fentanyls, and a lot of them are getting off big pharmaceutical drugs and
not
alcohol.
going anywhere.
And when you
No,
start learning
we're
about
not going anywhere. That's the big thing about it.
when you start learning about cannabis too, you realize how many uses it has. So it isn't even just a threat to the medical industry and the alcohol industry. Once people start becoming normalized with cannabis in their household and it's destigmatized, ideas of things like huge hemp fields and being used to produce hemp fuel won't be that strange of an idea for people in their minds.
No, and that research has all been done by all our people in the past in our cannabis community. The research and the proof, it's all cannabis has been studied more than anything.
I'm with Freddie. I mean, I'd much rather be a conspiracy theorist than a coincidence theorist. And if you look who's profiting and benefiting, we knew back when Health Canada was putting out, and they had that one producer that they didn't want that weed to be good. They didn't want anybody to like that weed. They weren't trying to have that program succeed at all. And
Prairie
now you look
plant
at what
systems.
these LPs are doing, and maybe they want to poison people on purpose because they're invested in pharmaceutical companies, and maybe they're owned by pharmaceutical
They are
companies.
all owned.
And so when you get
what
sick
part of
off the weed that
GW
you got, they got a pill for that.
Well,
That's
one
what's
of the
going on.
LPs is named GW Pharmaceuticals. What part of that?
You cannot trust those people.
Doesn't make you think.
You
and
can
a new
trust
one that
them.
just started has the name pharmaceuticals in it. Just
You
got
can
its new
trust the
license.
pharmaceutical companies to do everything in their power to keep you buying their pills.
Oh, absolutely. That's and Neil knows because that's what
Yeah,
it's
GW's been around
that's
for a
what
while.
It's all been about, and then the petrochemical and the nylon and all that stuff has killed the hemp industry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and our hemp farmers aren't doing so good considering hemp's been legal in Canada since 1996 now. Well, that's what I'm saying. Just, geez, you'd think there'd be a lot of people growing hemp. It'd be worth product, and we'd have manufacturing plants and creating jobs.
The problem.
They just discourage it.
Absolutely.
It's not that they, it's that they make it. It's not
longer than that.
Yeah.
It's not that they discourage it. It's that they make it impossible.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a 10-year apprenticeship to go into the hemp business as a hemp grower. How
Yeah,
many
it's just
fucking people
ridiculous.
have a 10-year apprenticeship
this is-
in a legal hemp environment? It's
That's a good
ridiculous.
example of what your recreational cannabis is going to look like, because that's also what medical marijuana looks like, in the loops and the hoops and the shit that patients have to go through to
it's
get
gonna
signed
be,
up.
It's
right?
going to be all taken over
Like,
by
what if you had to
liberal
go
buddies
through all that
of
shit
Justin
to
Trudeau.
get a Valium? It's 20 minutes to get a Valium. It's 5 months to get fucking marijuana. Are you kidding me? You know, and for 15 years of watching patients suffer, it's ridiculous. But Jeremiah, I gotta go. I really do. I really thank you
Awesome,
so much.
Freddie.
We'll talk more. I appreciate you letting me crash your show. Good to see you again, Neil. Good to see you, J Rock.
J Mac.
J Mac. I'm high as fuck. We just did a big dab session and smoked out. So.
I guess you don't want to be J-Rock to be like, crack guy.
Yeah, I don't want to be no crazy. It's J Mac because it's J for Jeff, Mac for McDonald.
Yeah, thanks, brother,
It's
man.
who I am,
Appreciate you coming
who I
on.
be.
We'll see you soon.
That's
We'll
why
do one of those.
J Mac.
Bam, bam.
But oh, joint.
No, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can get some stuff planned first.
I got something definitely going on.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk soon. We'll figure it out. Excellent. So I'm gonna wrap the show.
Nice seeing you too, Freddie.
Wait,
You too.
Can I say something?
J Mac on the microphone.
Can I just say something about the whole weed thing?
About
Because hey, everybody else has.
you might want to
About
narrow
that
it
whole
down.
weed thing.
You might want to narrow it down a little bit.
It's very simple, very easy. Get off our fucking backs. Let us smoke weed into the crack. It's healthier for us. Look at me, I'm walking. Peace.
Mic drop.
I'm not
Good.
gonna look up, but I would.
Good work.
Seriously.
Good words of wisdom there, J Mac.
Because if you didn't know me for the last 5 years, I was in a wheelchair. I fucking I'm high as fuck. But yeah, for the last 5 years, I had been in a wheelchair. For the last 9 months, I've been walking. Stronger, faster, more better. I'm now doing 5K a day, and we went and And when we went to the UBC Cannabis and Hemp Conference, I climbed 9 flights of stairs, both days. 9 on Saturday, 9 on Sunday, and I went on Sunday.
With the help of cannabis.
With all I do, I told my doctor, I will not see you unless I'm terminally ill. He's like, fair enough, Jeff. I haven't seen my doctor in 3 years because I've been on cannabis. I had no need to see him. None. I've been healthy enough to where I'm getting stronger. And yeah, I go see him once a year just because it's my yearly checkup. And every day he's like, you're looking better, you're looking good, I'll see you next year. I have no need to see him because I'm medicating myself with cannabis. I'm not using pharmaceutical drugs. I'm not using man-made products. I'm just not doing it. I come from a place where I'm broke as all hell. And do I care? No. Why? Because I'm okay being poor. It sucks, but that's neither here nor there. It's like the weed. The weed is why I feel okay being poor. Because if I had money, I'd be on the street doing bad stuff. I know that. I'd rather get high, get stronger, get physical fit, and be a better man than I ever have been. Is that so wrong?
Not at all.
Justin Trudeau? Is that so wrong?
Not at all. You should be allowed to.
Like.
I think our camera got a bit of a Batman slant to it here. You notice that?
Oh, that's
looks
awesome.
a little like, we're like falling off the side here. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyways, thanks for that, J-Mac. And it's true, you should be allowed to, your medicine shouldn't be denied.
No,
undeniable.
And everybody who's seen me has said to me, you're looking good, you're getting stronger, you're getting more fit. And all I do is cannabis. I eat it, I smoke it, I bathe in it, I use the cream.
Let's not go there.
No. With the
All right.
medicated bath
All right, we're going to wrap this up.
The medicated bath bomb.
And with that,
The medicated
Tune
bath bomb.
into.
I mean the
I love it.
medicated
J-Max bath
bomb.
bombs.
Get your mind on the freaking gutters. Okay, it's a freaking bath bomb. I wear shorts when I mean it because I don't want to get my. No, that's too much.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
J-Mac.
that's too much.
He asked for less visuals. No more.
They call you Bubbles.
That
all right.
Have a great night.
Beautiful.
Maybe J-Mac can do a Buds and Suds episode too.
Yeah, exactly. You should do a Buzz and Suds. And Neil could get his red shorts in there too.
That's right.
Yeah,
Check
you
the
guys.
archives for that.
Are you going to be wearing those to Cannabis Day?
Pod TV pool party.
Pod TV pool party.
Pod TV
I like
pool
that
party.
idea.
Yeah.
Where do we find a pool that will let us hotbox it?
Hotbox the pool.
Hotbox
the outdoor pool.
Just before you go, I know it's wrapping up. I just want to quickly plug the Cannabis Substitution Project. Check that out on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're providing cannabis free to people to try to offset the opioid overdose crisis. So check that out on Facebook.
And I use that stuff.
Where do they check it out, Neil?
Cannabis Substitution Project on Facebook.
You just type that into the
Type
thing.
that in, it should come up. It's a public group.
And
we're going to be at Vandu again tomorrow. We've got hundreds of edibles and joints and things we're going to give away to people, seeds. And yeah, it's an awesome.
And have you said all the Cannabis Day stuff you wanted to get out there?
I think so. We're we're looking forward to it 8 days from today, a week from tomorrow.
Oh my God, it's so soon.
Yeah. Come early if you want to set up a booth.
Can I guess?
Guess we better get
tell
things
your
organized.
friends. Let's take back the day. Let's get this back on track the way we were in 2014. It was an epic mainstream event. I would like to see that again. We deserve to have that happen again. So it takes people coming to our event to make it that. So do what you can to come to Thornton Park at Main and Terminal, and contribute to our event by being there and make it what it will be.
Yes, sir. Thanks for
Come
that,
get
Neil.
high
Neil
and start
Magnuson,
partying.
who will also be doing some MCing duties and speaking at Cannabis Day. as
And
he
we're going to
usually
do the
does.
regular old cannabis and
singing songs,
give out some joints at
glory.
420 like we always do.
Yep.
So it'll be the regular show. Back
And I'm
on
gonna
track.
be there about 11 o'clock, guys, because it is Saturday.
J-Mac's going to wear his short shorts.
Nope, my phone.
Oh, beautiful.
VPD will be there keeping us safe. And
Oh, yeah.
Parks people will be there inhaling the positive vibes.
Mhm.
And we'll have a beautiful, positive, peaceful day amongst a whole bunch of alcohol events that'll get out of control around 10 o'clock at night. So
Yeah.
We're right-
Yeah.
right
So
beside
vendors,
the Iron Hub Pub, don't forget.
weed
We're right
lovers,
beside the Iron Hub Pub.
everybody come on down.
Come on down.
There's lots of space. The vendors, it's first come, first serve. It's all free. You don't have to pay to have a booth at Cannabis Day, or have us hold one at Cannabis Day for you. But there'll be lots of space for everybody.
lots of
And
space and lots of magical vapors.
yes. And it should be fun.
Inhale the
So we're gonna wrap this up. It's 6:43 p.m.
Wow,
in
parking.
Beautiful
Oh my God.
Vancouver, British Columbia.
You've been
Down here on
Oh,
the
no.
pot block,
You've
307
been
West
told.
Hastings. So thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
The
Thank you,
gaggle.
Thank you, Carly,
And Yo's in the
aka
house.
Mom.
And Carly Pants, thanks for hosting the show with me today.
You're welcome.
I love having you on the show. Johnny
I
didn't
love
make it,
being
I
on the
guess.
show.
See, John said he was going to come and he didn't. He
He
thought he was
probably
running late.
figured at some. He probably opened it and then saw that I was here, and then he was probably like, nah.
I mean, he's like, man, he doesn't want to yeah, he knows. He knows you're just on point with the comments. He's like, that Carly taking
You
over
might
my
have just
show.
not wanted to deal with the Surrey traffic if you had someone.
We could have called him.
We could have called
We
him.
could still call him. Might be funny. Nah, it's gonna be too long. We're wrapping it up.
We got the munchies.
We got the munchies. We'll see. We'll see.
Whenever the show
Johnny
ends,
Boy,
it's
next
pretty much
week
always
on the
because
show.
we have the munchies.
Yeah.
It's basically when
munchies
the
are parking.
the show host needs to put change in the meter or food in their belly, one of the two.
Yeah. Okay, Pod TV, we love you. Thanks for watching.
Tune into
guys.
the
Have a fun Friday.
420
Love you.
Lifestyle Show on Monday at 4 o'clock. I'm very excited for our episode. We're going to have Neil Magnuson on. He's going to be talking to us some more about Cannabis Day. And we're going to be continuing the conversation we had last week, which some of you may or may not be aware of, but we were speaking about Indigenous rights. And I definitely recommend you go check out last week's episode. It was a lot of fun, very informative.
Pretty amazing show.
And I would love for you guys to tune in next week as well. And we have a very exciting guest that's going to be coming on. That's going to be Skyping in.
Fun.
I haven't announced it yet, but I'm so excited. So
There you go.
you should definitely tune in so you can find out who it is.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you can watch on Wednesday From Under the Influence with Marijuana Man, Al the Alchemist, and Kush Queen, who was on the show today.
And I believe Al is going to be coming back. He won't. I don't think he's going to be back this Wednesday. I believe he's going to be back the following Wednesday, though. So
Right, he's been
Al's
away.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yay.
And Thursdays you can watch Craig X, who you saw on today's show at 4:20 p.m. PT Thursdays, and then of course you can tune in again with us on Fridays. And don't forget Kush Queen's Sunday show at 2 p.m. So that's the whole lineup. Bam, Pod TV, and soon to be Freddie Pritchard on Tuesdays. Another live. That would mean we have live shows from Pod TV 6 days a week.
Well, we've got
almost
it.
every
It's
day.
funny because I feel like that we've had a couple shows proposed to us for Saturdays. Now we might have to just lock down that
Cranking
last
it up.
day.
Cranking it up.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
You
We'll
guys
see
will have to
soon.
just see. So much mystery.
So much mystery everywhere. Oh, yes.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks to all our guests, everybody else too, Bob Wilson and the crew. It was really great to have him on. And Cushy, of course. All right. And but there's Yo. Yo's on cam. So
And we have Yo.
Yo in the house. He's got a haircut.
No, I'm going to interview. So
Yo is one of our hardcore volunteers. Yeah.
Can I do an interview with him?
No, not right now. You
We
can't.
just
We're
finished-
just
we just
wrapping
finished the
up.
show.
You can do it on your own show. But we love you, Yo.
You should get an interview. You should get an interview for your show that you've been
Yeah.
working on.
There you go.
Come clean.
The J-Mac
I
hour.
haven't started doing anything of it because I'm high as fuck. I'm sorry, guys.
Peace.
All I have
All right.
done, all I have for my show is my title page.
Well, get on it. Do an interview and get on it.
Put that work in, J Mac. It ain't all just peaches, baby.
That took me like 5 days to do. So watch it, please. JMac 420 on YouTube.
You got to do a show every week.
Yup, that's the thing about a show is it's repeated.
Man, I never realized until I started doing this. I had no idea how crazy the amount of work that must go into those daily shows. I can't even imagine.
I know. It takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay,
and big thanks to Boss
I'm
Lissa.
going to do like
Yeah.
In the studio.
Boss should take a bong
On the
rip.
boards. Yeah, she could have a. She
hasn't
there,
taken a
that's,
bong
See,
rip.
that's worthy of continuing the show.
That's worthy of continuing the show.
Yeah.
For a
I
Boss
always try
Lissa
to make
bong
sure.
rip.
Sometimes I forget, but if
Is this cam
if I
working?
can remember, I try to make sure Boss gets.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Yay.
Yeah.
Hi,
Boss Lissa in
Lissa.
between.
This is the boss lady.
Thanks for holding the show down, producing
everything
things,
for the
mixing
show.
it up.
You're welcome.
Taking care of biz. Hitting the bong.
Without her, we
Being a
would
boss.
be nowhere, guys. Without Alyssa, we would be nowhere.
Yep, it's true. She's our dope producer.
Oh, bongs.
Very nice.
Been smoked a bunch on this show.
And now our show is great.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Hi.
That's a well-used bong.
Yeah.
It is.
That was clean when we started the show.
I know. That's
well
we
done,
put in
guys.
work.
Thanks.
Can I get a
Thanks,
bong?
Boss Lissa.
Can I get a
We'll
bong?
give you one after J Mac.
Off the air. Okay.
Okay. All right. Now we're really wrapping it up.
Third time's a charm.
Are you sure?
Love you, Pod TV.
Bye, guys.
Drug P.